son.
You know,
I was always a sucker for the places on TV that had a front stairwell and a back stairwell. Like they had one in Different Strokes.
Full House had one.
Webster had one. Full House
You had a
had one.
dumbwaiter, too.
Well, the
Cosby Show had one?
Yep.
Webster was the dumbwaiter. That was like, oh, it was so cool if you could
Webster
have
had
that in your house.
a dumbwaiter. They also had that secret stairwell behind the grandfather clock.
Yeah.
Benson you would live in the governor's mansion.
There was the governor's mansion, and there was that staircase for the support staff that was part of it as well.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, reminisce amongst your friends about that. I have 3 more birthdays to mention real quick. We have TV producer David E. Kelly, The Practice, Ally McBeal, Boston Legal,
legendary.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yep.
They've been together since 1993. Graham Norton is 62 years old. He is treasured in the UK.
Watch a show every week.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It really is. It depends on the guest.
Yeah.
He does something that used to be quite common in talk shows, which was to panel. He has all his guests come out, and they're all sitting on the couch at the same time, and it's always a great time. But he is a great host.
Why is that not done on American shows anymore?
They try it occasionally. Carson used to do it all the time. That paneling was part of the deal. I don't know why.
Yeah, because seeing those people interact was fun.
Yeah.
You know?
James Corden did it.
Did he?
Yeah, and his show's not on anymore.
So Graham Norton is 62 today. And then the last birthday, why, it's a guy we had on our program yesterday. It's Eric Andre's birthday. And he turns 42 years old, probably going to have a little black tar heroin this morning to celebrate his birthday.
So funny.
He's talking about that yesterday. All right, we will see if we have someone who knows the answer to our stupid question. From what language did English borrow the word caboose? And we are going to go to Bill, who's joining us via Zoom this morning. Hey, Bill.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great, buddy. All right, do you happen to know where we got, what language we got the word caboose from?
That would be Dutch.
The Dutch. That is correct. Hang on a second, buddy. The Dutch gave us caboose, and we are giving you a 4-pack of tickets as MMR rocks. Monster Energy Supercross, Saturday, April 12th. Lincoln Financial Field. Tickets on sale now. You can visit supercrosslive.com for all of the details. All right, let's get to the entertainment stories. Tom Cruise honored his friend Val Kilmer during his appearance at CinemaCon. Kilmer passed away earlier this week at 65, of course, due to pneumonia. We spent a good amount of time talking about that. He was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, later recovered, and then, of course, he had this issue pop up and it took his life. Cruise paused for a moment of silence at CinemaCon, honoring the actor. After the moment of silence, Cruise addressed the crowd saying, "Thank you, Val. I wish you well on your next journey." So it was really nice.
I'm very touched by their friendship. And I mean, we knew how profound the friendship was when he made sure he insisted that Kilmer be in Maverick.
Yeah.
And thank God he did, because we have that wonderful moment of those two together.
Yeah. Jennifer Aniston sent Pedro Pascal a sweet message after the two met up for dinner last month. She shouted out the actor on his birthday, sharing a comic to her Instagram story featuring a therapist telling their client, lately, a lot of people are reporting that their faith in humanity is riding entirely on whether or not Pedro Pascal is as nice as he seems. And Aniston added her own comment saying, "Can confirm, as nice as he seems." She then told the actor happy birthday and tagged him. This new post follows photos of the Aniston and Pascal at a fancy restaurant going viral online. And some fans think maybe a new couple was set to debut, but she shut down those rumors. It was a group dinner, but I'd be all right with those two being a couple.
Totally. In fact, I'm going to insist.
Yeah.
Make it happen. By the way, the newest trailer for Fantastic Four drops today.
Excellent.
Yes.
So Michelle Williams has welcomed her 4th child. The new addition to the family arrived 6 weeks ago via surrogate and is Williams' 3rd child with husband Thomas Cale. Michelle and Thomas got married in 2019 after they worked together on Fosse Verdon and got married in March 2020.
She was really good in that. I watched that series.
A source says they couldn't be happier to expand their family. Williams is also mother to her son, Hart Cale, and the 3rd child, whose name is unknown, born in 2022 with Cale, but she also has a daughter, Matilda Ledger. Of course, she shared with the late Heath Ledger. She's got a new show that I've seen the trailers for. There's a lot of big names in that, too.
I think it's based on a true story where a woman was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And then her mission was to sleep with a lot of guys.
Oh,
She
really?
actually left her husband and slept with a lot of guys.
No
I
kidding.
believe that's the conceit.
Yeah, it's got and I wish I had the title handy, but it's got a funny title like that would suggest that
Something,
that's what she's up to. Nick will look that up, and
It's Heath Ledger's birthday today, or it would have been his birthday today.
yeah,
wow.
that's true.
Yeah.
Hang on a second here. It's called
Dying for Sex.
Dying for Sex. That's it. Yeah. Nicolas Cage's son, Weston Cage, has dodged prison time in his felony assault case after
I need you to stop talking.
allegedly attacking his mom.
Oh, no.
Christina Fulton. He was, however, told that he would have to complete a 2-year mental health diversion program. According to the judge, they said, Mr. Cage does suffer from an eligible mental health disorder. I'm satisfied it was a significant factor in the commission of the charged offenses. It's obvious he was suffering a breakdown at the time.
I'm taking the blame for this one, Your Honor. We fed him sand.
Fulton attended the hearing, imploring the courts to consider therapy rather than time behind bars. And he had said, Nicolas Cage had said, now I stand here pleading for one thing, that he gets the help he deserves. Please help my son. Oh, this was his mom saying that.
Okay. He's definitely in a bad way.
Yeah. He said there's been a history of issues with him, unfortunately. I thought this was fun. Glenn Powell is playing the long game. He was on Today with Jenna Bush Hager and guest co-host Olivia Munn to talk about his starring role in The Running Man, his sister's wedding, and more. So here's what came up that was kind of interesting. After playing a round of Saucy Questions, a game based around his new condiment line called Smash Kitchen, Powell revealed a not-so-pleasant childhood memory that may have led to his new venture. He said, I used to be traumatized by ketchup. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with ketchup. I put it on absolutely everything. But he says that one of his buddies who had a little sister who was a year younger than he was would frequently have sleepovers at his house. And he said if we had sleepovers at the same time, the boys would have to sleep outside. The girls slept inside. We slept on the trampoline at night. Fast asleep, the boys had no idea what was about to happen. In the middle of the night, he said the girls snuck up and they poured ketchup all over us. And in the Texas sun, it baked. He said, I woke up and it was terrible, horrible smell. So he said, I jumped into the pool, covered in stale hot ketchup. Powell said that it had ruined the condiment for him for years until he developed his own. And on April 2nd, Powell announced Smash Kitchen, an organic condiment line now available nationwide exclusively at Walmart.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
When we were hazed in the sorority, it was dumb. It wasn't really hazing. It was funny, and we all laughed. But they poured stuff all over us. There was one night where they would just pour like ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, hot fudge, like all this kind of stuff. Well, they used on me Herbal Essence shampoo.
Oh, man.
And like when I tell you, like bottles and bottles of it. And then that mixed with like the other stuff they were pouring on us.
Yeah.
I, to this day, cannot smell Herbal Essence shampoo and can never use it.
It can traumatize you. You can lock that, the smell. So like he's saying, was it the smell that get? Yeah.
The smell, me and my sense of smell. Yeah. And it mixed with like the other stuff, whatever it was that was in that shampoo just got me.
And now you're scarred.
I can't use it.
It looks like ketchup. It tastes like ketchup. But brother, it ain't ketchup.
So if we were to bring in some herbal essence and hold it under your nose, would you freak?
I mean, I don't know that I would freak, but I will never use it on my.
Okay.
If I had to walk around with that smell on my hair, no.
All right.
Oh, man.
Well, that's something to do with Keenan's. Bath of herbal essence.
All right. So, but anyhow, the brand will offer 8 organic flavors: ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, hot honey ketchup, spicy mayonnaise, and hot honey barbecue sauce.
You know what you just did? You just did a tease for the Connoisseur now.
Sure. I thought about putting this in there, but I had other stories. So the lines ketchup, mustard, and mayo come in 2 sizes, and everything retails from $2.17 to $4.97. And this is just the beginning. According to the co-founder and president of Smash Kitchen, Sean Kane, he said, our vision is to transform the entire pantry, bringing delicious organic options to every shelf, one category at a time.
This could be it. Look what happened with Paul Newman's stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Took
It's
off.
Still there. Powell says that he can't eat normal ketchup now. He said, I can eat my own, which is great. So this is a great redemption story. So
you said he's in the show with, or this movie with Olivia Munn?
You know
No,
what?
she was the co-host.
Yeah,
with the,
she was. Yeah.
Okay.
the Bush daughter.
I saw she's in the new John Hamm series where he's a wealthy guy who falls on hard times and starts robbing from his rich neighbors. And she's in it. And I saw the trailer, and she looks sensational. Yeah. Like I've never seen her look this good after all she's been through.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
She to look that great. She already looked great.
Yeah.
So that's phenomenal. So let's see. Bachelorette Deanna Pappas has issued a statement through her legal team about her arrest last month. So according to this statement, it says, after a full investigation and review of video evidence, he has assigned detective determined that Miss Pappas was not the aggressor. No criminal charges were filed. This matter is proceeding appropriately through the legal system, and Miss Pappas will not be making further comment at this time. She was arrested on February 27th, and it was an incident involving her husband, Stephen Stagliano. Pappas joined Bachelor Nation during Brad Womack's season of The Bachelor in 2007 and going on to star on season 4 of The Bachelorette in 2008.
Come on.
She and Stagliano married in 2011 and announced their split in 2023 with the divorce being finalized last June.
I love you.
But she was arrested and...
There's been a lot of conflict in that collective.
Yeah, there has been. Well, I mean, listen, now it's on how many seasons now, so you're going to have a lot of people, and eventually some of them are going to be tool bags. So, Case, I'm curious what you think about this. Disney has been making a ton of live-action remakes of their hit animated movies for a while now. They've been churning out the remakes of classics, including The Lion King, Snow White, and the upcoming Lilo and Stitch. Fans looking forward to the live-action remake of Tangled may have to wait a while as the movie has reportedly been put on hold.
Okay, I'm down with that. But I am, like, when they do this stuff with, like, animals, it makes it really, really difficult. I was really excited for Aladdin, and I thought that movie sucked. The live-action version sucked.
It did poorly in the box office as well.
I don't think you need to do these, or at least not Tangled yet. Wait a while. Wait till it's even more nostalgic, you know?
So the word is they could, for example, they have Lilo and Stitch coming out. They have How to Train Your Dragon live action. Live action, quote unquote, because it's still a crap load of CGI.
Yeah.
It is a dragon involved.
Yeah, it's a friggin' dragon.
Yeah.
But the deal is they could re-release the movie and do well, you know, with goose it up, re-release a 3D version or whatever.
Yeah.
But by doing this and it basically remaking the movie scene for scene, they can double their box office take because people, you know, even though they kind of go, I don't know if when push comes to shove, their market research has told them they'll go out and see it.
It's surprising that their market research had them looking to do this before Frozen, because Frozen was such a huge, or maybe it's too soon to.
Maybe they can milk that franchise in a different direction, animated style. But the Moana one is the one that confuses me the most because there's Moana, Moana 2, and then live action Moana. And I thought Moana 2 was really well done, but that's a lot of Moana.
That's a lot of Moana.
That sounds like a TV show.
A lot of Moana.
That's a lot of Moana.
A lot of Moana.
A lot of Moana. That could be like a stripper name or something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, stage number 2, Lot of Moana. I love that. All right. Well, anyhow, so Tangled is going to be put on hold. I don't know for how long or if they will even release it, but a lot of Moana. I love it. All right, man, there have been a lot of trailers that have been coming out, and that's wonderful because it means we have some great things to look forward to. And the trailer for Megan 2.0 is now out.
There you go.
Yeah. Did you see it yet?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
It was good.
It looks pretty good.
I didn't see the first movie.
I did, yeah.
But this looks pretty solid, I think.
Well, it also they've done something pretty cool. They've given it a bit of a more a correct edge to it. The first one was decent. Yeah.
It was very successful.
Oh, it was huge.
So if you thought the first movie was crazy, get ready because Allison Williams returns as Megan's creator, Gemma, now on the run from a next-gen version of the robot named Amelia, who's out to kill her and anyone else involved in Megan's creation, or anyone human, really. And the only way to stop her is to bring back the original Megan, a plan which presents its own very real risks.
Was that Dan Soder that we saw in this? That's Dan Soder, the male lead in this.
No kidding.
In case I didn't even notice if it is.
It looks like him. We'll
need confirmation of that, Nick. If you could look up Dan Soder and see if he is in Megan 2.0.
I don't think so.
No case.
Well, who is that guy?
I don't. Hey, who are you?
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna look it up.
So anyhow, this is going to be hitting theaters on June 27th if you are interested. And I just saw this, Casey and Nick, you guys have read the books.
Oh.
I just saw this literally over my shoulder. There's a teaser trailer out for
Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, and I cannot wait.
How does it look?
For that. I haven't watched it yet. I literally just found it.
Oh, I see.
It's on my screen over here behind me. I'm going to watch it as soon as we're done here.
I thought you were going to reference Naked Gun trailer.
Now, I saw that, too. Okay, I do have that
Let's
story
talk about that.
in here as well. So, yes, Paramount kicked off CinemaCon with the first teaser for The Naked Gun, a reboot of the classic cop parody series, of course. That's coming out August 1st, and it stars Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin Jr., the son of Leslie Nielsen's iconic character. In the teaser, Neeson's Drebin foils a bank robbery while dressed as a schoolgirl licking a lollipop and then coolly declaring that he's Frank Drebin, Police Squad, the new version. Akiva Schaffer of The Lonely Island and SNL fame directs with Seth MacFarlane producing. The highly anticipated reboot features a stacked cast. It includes Pamela Anderson, Paul Walter Hauser, Lisa Koshy, and more. The sequel appears to lean in on the franchise's signature absurdity, even featuring a nod to its O.J. Simpson era past briefly.
That cracked me up when they did that. Yeah.
So that's another one to look forward to down the road. So there's a host of really cool trailers that are out right now. Also had this story, FUBAR. Netflix has announced season 2 will premiere on June 12th. That's the Arnold Schwarzenegger action comedy / spy series that stars Monica Barbaro and brings Carrie-Anne Moss on board as the season 2 baddie / former flame of Arnold's CIA operative. The cast also includes Fortune Feimster, Jay Baruchel, Scott Thompson, and others. I really didn't care for it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Late comedy legend Joan Rivers will be honored in an upcoming special on NBC. The special, filmed during the 2024 New York Comedy Festival, will feature appearances by such notables as Nikki Glaser, Bill Maher, Tracy Morgan, Aubrey Plaza, and Sarah Silverman. Rachel Brosnahan, Margaret Cho, Tiffany Haddish, Chelsea Handler, Neil Patrick Harris, Howie Mandel, Joel McHale, Patton Oswalt, plus Gene Smart and Rita Wilson are also in the lineup.
Yeah, I think they need this.
As well as Melissa Rivers. So the special will air on NBC May 13th. Yeah, she passed away quite a while ago.
So Gene Smart is playing a riff on Joan Rivers in Hacks. The amazing Mrs. Maisel is sort of a nod to the career of Joan Rivers. So, yeah, give her her due.
Yeah, most definitely. The MTV Video Music Awards have a new home, kind of. After 40 years on MTV, CBS will be presenting the big show. And it will also air on MTV as well as on Paramount Plus. This year's event is now set for September 7th, airing live from the UBS Arena in New York. CBS landed this new event as they deal with the loss of their partnership with the Grammys. Disney.
CBS lost the Grammys?
That's what it says here.
Oh, wow.
Disney recently landed a 10-year deal to present the Grammys starting in 2027 after CBS had been the home since 1973. So I guess it's moving to ABC. Last year's MTV Video Music Awards brought in their biggest multi-network audience since 2020 and featured performances from fan favorites like Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter. All right, we got movies opening this week. Let's talk about them. Well, we have opening today a Minecraft movie. It's a family adventure fantasy starring Jack Black, Jason Momoa, and Myers as well. So welcome to the world of Minecraft, where creativity doesn't just help you craft, it's essential to one's survival. 4 misfits, Garrett, the garbage man, Garrison Henry, Natalie, and Dawn find themselves struggling with ordinary problems when they are suddenly pulled through a mysterious portal into the overworld, a bizarre, cubic wonderland that thrives on imagination. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's rated PG, and it's a wide theater release with Rotten Tomatoes score coming in at 51%. Then you have Hell of a Summer. It's a horror comedy starring Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick. We just spoke to them this week. Fred Hechinger is in it as well. Follows 24-year-old camp counselor Jason Huckberg, who arrives at Camp Pineway thinking that his biggest problem is that he feels out of touch with his teenage coworkers. What he doesn't know is that a mass killer is lurking on the campgrounds, brutally picking counselors off one by one. Hour and 28 minutes long. Rated R. Wide theater release. Rotten Tomatoes score at 55%. Then you have Steamboat. It's a horror comedy starring David Howard Thornton, Allison Patel, and Jesse Posey. A late-night boat ride in New York City becomes a struggle for survival when a seemingly harmless mouse transforms into a dangerous monster.
Is this one of those Steamboat Willie properties?
Oh, okay.
Passengers must fight to stay alive. It's an hour and 41 minutes long, rated R, limited theater release. And Rotten Tomatoes score gives it a 59%. It's the highest of the three that we have mentioned here.
It is the highest. David Howard Thornton is Art the Clown from the Terrifier movies.
Nice. All right, now we're ready for the clips. Former SNL star Kyle Mooney successfully directed his first film, Y2K, about high schoolers on New Year's Eve 1999. And here he talks about where that idea came from.
I feel like I was always sort of minorly obsessed with Y2K because it was such a letdown. And so one day the idea kind of came like, oh, it'd be interesting to see a bunch of teenagers go to a party and Y2K actually goes down. By no means set out to be like, this is a movie I want to direct. It was more like, I think this would be a cool movie to see.
Y2K is now streaming on Max. Our next clip. Jason Momoa hands over his action star card to play a washed-up video game champion in the Minecraft movie. And here he and co-star Jack Black talk about the out-of-character role.
Like, I'm a big wuss, and, there's... I love to laugh, and I love to, make fun of myself. And I think there's, little things from my childhood where we put into the character.
I really admire you for playing against type, because it takes courage to do that, and you really play a chicken shit in this. Yeah. And it's funny as hell.
The Minecraft movie is in theaters now. All right, there you go. Entertainment report for this Friday morning. Few things happening. We have an announcement coming up. We'll do that with our first run in the Bizarre File. Luis Gomez will be performing at Punchline, and he's going to be checking in with us today. We're also going to have wrestler Will Ospreay from AEW Dynasty, and they have a big show Sunday at the Leah Core Center, so he's going to be stopping by this morning. So we have that and some things to give away, and it's a Friday morning with all those guests coming up. That means we're going to have to move into Connoisseur territory. Toot sweet.
That's true, yes.
So we'll take a break, and we'll come back with that in just a moment. Stay with us on your ride this morning, gang.
Preston and Steve.
They may not be married, but Jennifer Gardner and Ben Affleck are still family, according to Ben's brother Casey. During an interview with E.T. on Saturday.
Are you still family?
No, entertainment television.
Do you all get together for the holidays?
What am I talking?
What am I talking to here?
I'm E.T.
He walks in. He's like, "Are you serious? I have to do this."
Pulling himself up in the chair.
Thanks for talking with me.
Could you get my agent in here, please?
I'm talking to a turtle.
Yeah.
Not a turtle.
Turtle. Oh my God.
I want a goddamn Oscar.
It was during an interview with E.T.'s Kelty Knight.
Oh, okay.
Whoever that is. I left that part out and I just said E.T., all right? So it was at the Are you still family?
How much longer is he going to be in rehab?
He's holding up his finger. Oh, my God.
E.T. could probably fix his addiction problem with his magic finger.
You're right.
His heart.
Touch his heart.
Heart light.
Whole new human being.
New Ben, new Batman movie.
That's so dumb. A suspended Long Island judge pleaded guilty on Friday to sneaking into his neighbor's home and stealing panties from her clothes hamper.
Bad judge.
This is a judge. Robert Sakale pleaded guilty to second-degree attempted burglary. He was detained on March 29, 2018 when he had been knocking on
They call me Judge Panties.
after he'd been knocking on a neighbor's door.
I like panties.
Sakale is said to have just left the home on a different neighborhood. Of a different neighbor prior to arriving at the second neighborhood's home.
I'm touching myself under my robe.
The first neighbor was identified as 23-year-old former intern at the Islip Town Attorney's Office.
Islip, yeah.
Islip, where the judge used to work. Now, police found that the judge had several pairs of panties stuffed down his suit jacket.
Oh, my God.
And his raincoat when they apprehended him.
Those are my panties.
Sakale's attorney claimed that his client had changed. He said he has served the people of Suffolk County honorably for the last 26 years.
Except for the panties part.
As a legal aid attorney, town of Islip attorney, and a district court judge. He has dealt with his mental illness.
I like to poop an oatmeal.
He's also...
What?
I like to poop an oatmeal.
This might be kind of nice to examine a little bit and maybe open this up to you, since you are most likely on the way into work this morning, to let us know something about what you do that everybody needs to know. And to give you an example, there's a lot of good ones on this list, and I'll lead with this one. This is what you and the people that work in your industry understand, but the people who don't work in your industry probably need to know. And
I love stuff like this.
This first one is from emergency room workers. It says emergency rooms are not first come, first serve business. We triage you for a reason, and you cannot cut the line in front of somebody with a more serious complaint just because you got here first.
So,
and listen, I have been in that situation where you sit in the emergency room for eternity, and you're like, I got here before them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just because his head was cut off?
Right.
Wow.
But you may not know what's going on with that.
You don't
person, and they need to get in there.
We went into it was a CHOP emergency room. It wasn't down in the city. It was actually the one out in King of Prussia, and it was a 3-hour wait. And as we were sitting there, it was when Jace. I think we talked about it. You guys remember? Jace got poison ivy, and it was like spreading on his body. I was like watching it spread. It was everywhere. So we walked in, and they were like, "Okay, it's going to be a 3-hour wait." And then I went back up, and I'm like, his eyes were swollen. I'm like, it's all over. Like, how do we not know it's in his throat? And they were like, okay, come on back. Like, I think the second I thought, I mentioned, like, could it affect the breathing or whatever?
Right.
And we went right back. But I remember, like, the poor other kids in the waiting room, like, looking at when I walked out, I'm like, they're probably like, these freaking people. Like, they went right back. But she's like, we have to check them to make sure
walked out
that
and said, say it's affecting your breathing.
Yeah. Say it's affecting your breathing.
So feel free to call and let us know. Here's another example. An airport worker, and this says, yes, your flight is in fact delayed due to weather. Yes, I also understand it's a gorgeous day here and at your destination airport. What you don't understand is that the airplane is coming from New York, and they had weather there. So, while it might seem like, why isn't this? Come on, there's a reason for it. By the way, 215-263-WMMR, the number.
I also want the things we're told that aren't necessarily true. The way they manage, the way they manage and meet our expectations.
What about when Marissa and I flew back from Chicago, and they were like,
oh, right.
We don't know where your pilot is.
Yes.
Oh,
shouldn't you at least have a general idea? Is he in the States?
Yeah. You need us, we'll be at the bar.
And that's where you find the pilot.
Here's another one from a photographer. It says, no, I can't grab your iPhone and take a picture to match my best studio works, even if it's the most recent model of an iPhone. Also, yes, I do charge money just to take a picture.
That's great.
There was, here's Nick. This will speak to you and Andrea because she's an artist, your girlfriend. This one, and I sent you a chain of emails from people who are trying to get free stuff from artists. It says, this one says, pencils are expensive. Prints are expensive. Proper paper is expensive, and it takes a lot of time to do a painting. So no, I can't give it to you for free for exposure. Yeah. Because that's thing people beg artists, look, I'll post it on social media. I'll plug this, and so on and so on. And they want free stuff from artists all the time.
Artists of all types too. I mean, musicians, painters, sculptors, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like, we'll put it out there. We'll give you exposure, and that's enough to pay you. Well, no. I need to get paid for my time and my work.
There's one time where that will hold water when they don't pay halftime performers at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Because, yes, you're legitimately getting exposure.
If you're Snoop Dogg, it's cool.
All right, let me get some calls here. I'm going to go to Janet, who is an ER nurse. Hi, Janet. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. Janet, what is it that people need to know about your line of work?
Just because they come in on a stretcher with an ambulance does not mean that they're automatically going to get a bed in the emergency room. They may still go out in the waiting room.
Okay. There were a couple of texts that came in saying that just because you take an ambulance doesn't mean that you're going to be seen before everyone else.
I think I would assume that if I came in, that they transported me in an ambulance, that they were going to get me right in.
We've had patients that leave, go across the street, call an ambulance, and come in
because they think
get a bed in the back.
Wow.
And they've been waiting in the waiting room.
gosh.
And we'll recognize the name and be that. No, doesn't happen like that. You go to the bottom of the list, back out in the waiting room you go.
Wow.
So Janet, if to Kathy's point, if someone were to say, "I think I'm having breathing problems," I mean, not that we're trying to have you betray the confidences, but would that accelerate their consideration?
It may, but they also are triaged by a qualified nurse that is going to be able to decipher most times whether they're really having breathing problems or they're faking it.
All right, Janet. Well, if you guys ever need help, I'm pretty good with the trach. And if you guys ever get backed up,
you don't want to pretend that you have some kind of a symptom that you don't really have. It's just going to head you down a path.
I had them laugh in my face.
Surprised.
Yeah, when
I know.
I talked about
Thanks, Janet.
pregnancy pains, Preston.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Let me go to, I have Mike, who is a police officer. Hey, Mike, good morning.
Gadzooks, guys.
Gadzooks, buddy. What's up, man?
So we've all seen a police officer pull up to a light, a traffic light, without his lights on, turn his lights on, go through, turn his lights back off. And everybody assumes they're just abusing their power, driving through the light to get through the light. That's absolutely not true. That 100% of the time they're responding to a medium priority call.
Okay.
Where they don't need their lights for the entire response, but they don't have, the time to wait at the traffic lights.
Yeah. And by the way, and speaking of that, a police officer is sitting in their car all day long. Yeah. Why would they pull up to a light and go, man, I got to get through this light right now. Come on!
Yeah. What's medium priority, officer?
Things like maybe domestic that's not in progress, a fight not in progress, or something like that, a verbal altercation, things like that.
What about like a security alarm?
Those are most of the time are reduced speed calls where we don't use our lights. We get hundreds of those a week.
Oh yeah.
How often do you get the question of do you have a quota for writing speeding tickets?
Every day.
And do you have a quota?
That's absolutely illegal.
Right. All right.
Quota.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, man. Take care. Thanks for the call.
That's a good one. I mean, we've all seen it. And I'm like, well, where's that cop going?
Right, yeah. What's that? I want one of those.
Probably going someplace to write up quota tickets.
Here is a text says, teachers work on average between 45 and 60 hours a week, depending on their position, but do not get paid overtime. We also don't get paid to not work over the summer. We get paid for 10 months, or we can choose to spread that out over 12 months, resulting in smaller but more frequent paychecks.
So how does that work? So they get one flat fee, and they can opt to take that summer break, or they can just get a continuous check at a lower rate of pay.
Listen, if your salary, let's just say, is $60,000, you can choose to get that paid over 10 months.
Or 12 months.
Or 12 months.
Can you choose to get it paid over 1 week?
All right, let me go to some other callers with your industry. This is what people in your industry know, but people who are not in your industry, you feel should know. I'm going to go to Chris, who is a mover. Hey, Chris, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. What's going on?
Yo, bud. Want to hear your story. What's up, bud?
Yeah, so being in the moving industry, every customer always assumes that they can see and know what fits through what doors and what
Okay.
And pretty much every time I'm forced to carry whatever object up, and it never fits.
So everyone, and I think you're probably right, because I end up being sort of the furniture mule for a lot of friends, moving stuff, and you're exactly right. And you over time, you build up a knowledge of, I can see this, I can see that, it's not going to work, but everyone still thinks, hey, at least give it a try, right?
Yeah, I guess.
No matter what it does to your back or whatever, just go for it.
All right, Chris. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Guys.
That's a hard-working gig right
Absolutely,
there.
man.
I will go next to Jake. Hey, Jake, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Gadzooks.
Gadzooks to you. Jake here, it says you're a music therapist.
Yes. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like a lot of people probably don't even know that that's a career.
Yeah.
The people that do sometimes assume that, like, oh, you make a playlist and put it on an iPod. That's pretty cool. Now, that's not at all what I do. No, I go in with my guitar, or I got a piano. I work mainly now with children, and I'm working on communication goals. So it's a very real career that a lot of people probably just don't even know about.
Yep.
Wanted to give a little plug to it.
3WMMR.
Thank you very much, Kathy. On the program later on, wrestler Will Ospreay will be joining us. We have Luis J. Gomez here in our studio, too. And we have an announcement on the way. Yes, another announcement. We've been announcing all kinds of stuff for the live band karaoke, Kathy's Cuts. We had another announcement, the Preston and Steve 20 money.
Kathy's Total Wine Concert.
Kathy's Total Wine Concert, which is coming up. All these things. But we have another one we're going to add to when we get to the Bizarre File. But it's Friday. We got a lot going on, so it's time to eat. Connoisseur, baby.
It's time for the Connoisseur, and we both have bells.
Yes, we do. Bellapalooza. All right, we are so happy that we have a sponsor. Our fine friends at Acme Markets bring you the Connoisseur, the official supermarket of the Preston and Steve Show. First story we're going to start with, and we'll do some giveaways with Acme and the movie clips here in a sec. But this was an article from Food and Wine Magazine, and it is the U.S. cities with the best food scenes.
Oh, man, we always go back and forth on this, and we always get boned on lists like this, though we should not. Am I going to be disappointed or happy?
Well, let's find out.
All right.
So it's by Food and Wine Magazine, highlighting the places with the that have some of the finest reputations for a food scene, and it was the annual Global Taste Makers Awards that they are citing these cities in. So. Overall winner, and we'll start at the top and we'll work our way down, is New York City. Wow. It's usually the one that wins. So it says with tens of thousands of places to eat, you never have to go far for a good meal in New York City. From Michelin-starred fine dining institutions to food trucks that are destination worthy, there are amazing culinary experiences covering all parts of the city from Brooklyn to the Bronx. So they just have a lot.
They have a lot.
Who was that guy that we had on last week, that guest during the Connoisseur, and he was talking about, it was Marissa said
Mark
that one.
Murphy?
Yeah.
We had Mark Murphy, and I was a little disappointed by the restaurants he called out.
Well, I was a little disappointed at how much he extolled the virtues of New York City. Like, get over yourself. And it was like, it was a little...
he brushed it off.
Yeah, and like, look, of course New York has great cities, great restaurants. It's the capital of the world. But acknowledge the other cities. That's where I get all. That's where I have a problem with New Yorkers. Yep. Yes, you have a great city. There are other great cities, and so pay attention to them too.
I'm gonna kill him.
Number 2, we don't have to go. Okay. Number 2 on this list is Chicago.
Yeah, I think I
like
might have,
Chicago.
I might have had my best meal ever. 2 of my best meals were not here in Philadelphia. Chicago was one, and then Boston was the other.
Was it the meal at Gibson's?
Yeah, I loved it. I know that you were underwhelmed. You went with the tomahawk, right?
No. I went with their. I think it was their ribeye, which they pitched as the greatest steak in the world.
And that was their first
And it was
mistake.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was excellent. But greatest steak in the world, I don't know.
You don't like that. You don't like when somebody says like greatest thing ever.
I just don't think that it's possible.
That it could
Have
be.
you ever encountered something you yourself would call the greatest thing ever?
Oh, probably to me, like I'm like, this is the best tasting blah, blah, blah I've ever had. And I love
I've
blah,
ever
blah, blah.
had.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The delineation.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like when somebody positions that like that to him. He doesn't like that. Even TV shows, movies, anything.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah, no, it was good, but don't tell me that was the greatest thing ever. It wasn't.
Ripping my heart out here, Kathy. But no, it's true. It's right. Yeah,
No,
you're right.
Build things up, to
Buttercup?
I guess no, to give you a certain expectation in your mind as to how this is going to taste, how it's going to sound, how it's going to look, or whatever. And when it doesn't meet that expectation, so I understand that.
It was wonderful, and I would go back any day of the week if I felt like spending that kind of money on a meal. But yes, for sure. So whether you're in Chicago, whether you're looking for to taste a classic Italian beef sandwich as seen on the Bear or deep dish pizza, Chicago doesn't disappoint. Recommendations include Virtue for refined Southern cuisine and the tasting menu at Esme in Lincoln Park.
Welcome to Esme.
Number 3 on the list is Los Angeles. They stated by saying the city's creative energy extends to the restaurant scene, and must-try spots include classics like Philippe for French dips, Cielito Lindo for taquitos, and Holy Basil for Thai.
Holy Basil. Listen, we know, as you were saying, Nick, these are obviously food meccas.
Yeah.
I do believe. Think outside the box a little bit. Stop traipsing over the same familiar territory, and let's get adventurous.
I had the most expensive meal I've ever had in Los Angeles.
Really?
I went to Nobu a few years ago, and I was lucky enough to get in. And
did it live up to the hype?
Yeah.
Nick, at any point did you have to put a towel over your arm and pretend to be a waiter to pick up tips
I did
to
not.
pay for the rest of your meal?
I know we might be talking about sushi in a little bit. Best sushi of my life. And look, it was super expensive. It was way overpriced. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. But it was a really cool experience. I liked being there. I don't know
celebs?
I'm sorry?
Any celebs?
Yeah, Pharrell was there.
Oh, okay.
And there was somebody else I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, look, it's Nobu in Malibu. It's ridiculous. I don't need to go back, but it was a cool experience.
All right, I'm gonna quickly, rather than go into the descriptions of every single one of these, because there's 10 of them all together. But number 4 on the list is Austin. You've eaten their case.
I have,
Good
but
food?
yeah, I mean,
how's their bat?
The bats were cool. I didn't eat any, but I did go to the Bat Bridge. I'm trying to think if there was anything that like blew me away. I went to the Salt Lick when in Austin, but that's not in Austin, and that's like one of the most world famous barbecue joints.
Number 5 on the list is New Orleans. I someday want to plan a trip to go back to New Orleans and eat my way through the city.
Yeah.
Because I don't
Eat
party.
yourself out.
Well, I don't party as hard as I used to. That used to be the focus. Like,
Yes.
let's go and tear it up.
Let's get effed up!
Yeah, but now I'm like, let's go and just eat.
Where's your first destination?
Every day.
Do you have a restaurant in mind?
No, I don't really
Because
know.
Paul Prudhomme's place used to be the place,
I
right?
ate there one time, and I ate at the Commander, which was Emeril Lagasse's restaurant, and they were
I
great.
forgot he was from there too.
He is.
Yeah.
And so there's plenty of great places, but I don't know them, but I know that they're there, so I would find them.
So I still have, excuse me, I still have that same goal. Let's go get effed up. But I want to do it in a classier way. Like the bars that you would go to, and just whatever, get a beer and hang and drink 9 million beers. Like I want to go to that restaurant with you, Preston. I just want to get the really good drinks that they have.
Yes, I do too. I definitely will put a buzz on for sure, but
I love this city.
but food's going to be a part of it, definitely. All right, so that's number 5. Number 6 on the list is Charleston.
Yeah, I was there last year. I'm not recalling anything that really blew my mind.
Okay. You didn't really seek out any fine dining, did
I
you?
really didn't.
Is it a cool place though? Like I've heard great things about it.
Cool little town. I wish I would have done more with it, but yeah, I was kind of holed up in my hotel, hoping because I was there with the rugby team and I was by
And you
myself.
were crying because the kids didn't want to hang out with you, right?
I was not crying, but I'm
cool.
I was kind of holed up in my hotel room because my son wanted nothing to do with me.
How was the room service?
I didn't get any room service.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
All right, number 7 on the list is Miami. Number 8 is San Francisco. You would expect those cities.
Rice-A-Roni.
Number 9 is Houston. Wow, we're running out of cities here. Number 10 on this list is Philadelphia. So, yeah, we made it into the top 10, and there are other worthy cities, but I'm glad that we were included.
I'm going to kill the other cities.
It says, beyond the cheesesteaks they're famous for, you can enjoy Cambodian hot dogs at Mon, Thai cuisine at Kalaya, and whatever's on the menu at Her Place Supper Club. So they recognize that it is a burgeoning restaurant scene.
Double thumbs from Marissa.
I ate at a great restaurant in Miami. Don't remember the name of it, but it was I think it was like the first time that I had like a really good expensive bottle of wine. Like we were at the point where we were making some money, and actually we bought a bottle, and then somebody we knew people there, and somebody sent over a second bottle, which was really nice because it was expensive. But that's what I remember about it. I mean, the food was great, but I remember being able to have that, tasting that really good wine.
Nice. All right, so those are according to Food and Wine, which is a reputable source.
Yeah.
It is the U.S. cities with the best food
We
scenes.
made the list. We made the top 10.
We got into the top 10. All right, it is time to play our first clip of the morning, and Marissa has got a theme for us this morning. Yeah. This Sunday is National Twinkie Day.
Oh, Twinkies.
It is believed to be the anniversary of the day that the Twinkie was invented in 1930 by James Dewar. So these are all Twinkie clips.
I can think of a few.
Here's your first one.
Well, let's say this Twinkie represents the normal amount of psychokinetic energy in the New York area. According to this morning's sample, it would be a Twinkie 35 feet long, weighing approximately 600 pounds.
That's a big Twinkie.
All right, text the word Zoom to 610-660-9333, and we'll see if we can get you on to answer. In the meantime, we'll do another order. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the first times ever, we had one last week, but we have a guest appearing as the Connoisseur because Steve Morrison had a culinary experience yesterday for the first time.
Hi, everyone.
And Steve went out to dinner for sushi for the first time, and we've got to hear his feedback of the event.
Well, Connoisseur, thanks for having me. It's great to see all of you here today. Big fans. I listen to you every day.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I went to Sakura Ramen and Sushi Bar, Germantown Avenue in Chestnut Hill.
Okay.
My wife is a big fan, and Dr. Mike has been saying he was going to take me for the longest time, but I figured best to get my entree, pop my sushi cherry.
Dip your toes in there.
And I did. So, and I talked to Nick, and I did Casey and you guys, and my wife had a couple of go-tos. So I had the Philadelphia roll, which is salmon, avocado, and cream cheese.
Yes.
I had, and tuna rolls, and miso soup. I did the appropriate soy sauce and wasabi.
Okay, you mix that up together?
I was told to put very little wasabi because I'm a newbie. And so I loved it.
You loved it.
I did. I loved it. I loved the salmon more.
Okay.
But the key I thought was because it was, and tell me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm the newbie. I'm the young buck. Getting all those flavors to coincide at the same time in your mouth. So when you're eating it, it's not the kind of thing you break it apart.
No.
It's got to be everything is at once.
Yep.
And I found it really good. I found it, and this is what my perception is, you're dealing with a lot of saltiness because with the soy and stuff like that. However, really excellent. The restaurant itself was very cool.
Yeah, you don't need to go crazy with the soy. Just a little dip in there, I find. And here's an interesting thing about sushi that I did not know. While it is common to see people, and I do this as well, eating sushi with chopsticks, apparently in Japan, it's more common to just grab it with your fingers
and dip it on in.
Pick it up and pop it in your mouth.
That's what I do.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I like using chopsticks, but when I get a little frustrated with it or just hungry, I just grab the sushi.
If you're at home, that you can do that, but at a restaurant, are you going to eat it with your hands?
You can
occasionally.
Apparently, it's culturally that's kind of how it's done.
Oh, and I am now in the Yakuza.
Nice. You're in the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Well, how did you consume yours? I was going to ask you
chopsticks. And they had very cool chopsticks. I see these occasionally. There are these separated chopsticks. These are the attached at the top, gives you a little bit more torque. So
that's for the little kids.
That's all they had.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm curious. So you had sushi rolls. Did you try sashimi?
No.
Okay.
No.
Probably best to
Let's take it one step at a time.
Exactly. One step at a time.
Even the guy said to my wife, "Go, not for this pussy."
What did everybody else at the table have? Do you know, Steve?
Yes, the other people at the tables were my wife because we went at 4:30.
Oh, I thought Mike went as well.
No. Mike.
That's another time.
Mike is hardcore, so he
misunderstood.
I'm sorry, I probably didn't state that right, but I replicated her exact order.
Oh, cool.
But the miso soup, I love miso soup.
I do too.
It's so good.
I agree.
Yeah.
And is your wife a sushi fan?
She is a huge fan now. And listen, I've never been a big seafood dude, but and I think all of you said, because I love at the Landing over here in Ballackinwood, Nick Elmy's restaurant, I love the salmon toast, which is, it's raw salmon.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I love that. So it was a good entree. But again, what I was surprised at, Preston, to the newbies like me who are going to try sushi, don't order a lot.
No. No.
Because it fills you the F up
It does.
quickly.
And what you can do, the thing that's fun about ordering sushi is you order a couple of rolls and then you just keep ordering. If you're still hungry, you order a few more. It's kind of a la carte. You don't have to order it all at once. And as you go along, you order more.
And my plate had a little tree on it.
It had a little tree on it?
A little Japanese tree thing. But I will say this. So, yes, you fill up quickly, but you don't feel like bloated or,
Right. So as you get more adventurous with this, Steve, you'll find that the rolls, you started with some basic ones, which is great. That's the way to do it. But as you go, you'll find there are more kind of esoteric ones that have maybe fruit in them, or they'll have, peppers and things like that, and a variety of different sauces that come with that.
I'm down with that. I can tell you what, on the next visit, I'm probably going to take a dip into real Japanese ramen.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because I'm a big ramen fan, but I'm used to,
Yeah, cup of noodles.
and I want real ramen.
Real quick, couple of texts coming in. Well, one person texted and said, did Casey just say to mix the soy and wasabi? Yeah. People, that's kind of standard procedure.
do that a lot.
But then again, another text came in and said mixing wasabi and soy sauce is actually frowned upon in Japan.
Is it?
Good thing I'm not in Japan.
So
you know what
Americanized type of thing. I don't
Maybe
know.
I was effing up, but also there was ginger on the plate. And I put
Dude, my buddy eats that.
Rochelle devours
Yeah,
it.
Same.
yeah.
It's a palate cleanser.
It's a digestif, so
Yeah,
it helps you
as
to
well.
digest afterwards. And I always save a little bit of ginger for the end of the meal.
So you don't blow my mind as well? We go in, we sit down, nothing's cooked, so they're bringing it, except the soup is already prepared.
Yeah.
You order it, it's right to your table.
Oh, yeah.
And no, our dinner lasted about 35 minutes.
You know what's funny?
I mean, we just, everything.
Mexican restaurants, the food comes out so fast.
Yeah.
And it's cooked. It's, prepared, like cooked food.
Kathy and I went to a Mexican restaurant where it took an hour and a half for the Mexican food to come out.
Wait, where?
You know the one I'm talking about.
Plaza?
No. Plaza's great.
Bite your tongue.
Bite your tongue.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
No. This was a bad Mexican experience.
Oh.
I probably shouldn't have brought it up.
Wait, what? I want to know.
Don't bring up a restaurant that may have had an off night.
We weren't there together. We went separately
You were
to the
dating at the time.
Remember when we were dating back in the early 2000s? No, we went to a
All right.
Mexican restaurant, and you and I both had bad experiences there. We'll talk about it another time.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, we need to move along. All right. So anyway, Steve had a good sushi experience. Wonderful. All right. Let's see if you know what movie this clip is from.
Well, let's say this Twinkie represents the normal amount of psychokinetic energy in the New York area. According to this morning's sample, it would be a Twinkie 35 feet long, weighing approximately 600 pounds.
That's a big Twinkie.
All right. We are going to go to Richard, who is joining us via Zoom this morning. Hey, Richard, how you doing, man?
Hey, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks,
Gadzooks.
buddy. All right. What movie is it from?
Ghostbusters.
Of course. Yep, you got it, buddy. Hang on. We're going to set you up with a $50 Acme Markets gift card. If you're hungry and in a hurry, Acme's Flash Grocery Delivery Pickup gets you fresh groceries in 30 minutes, less fast, fresh, and right to your door. Acme, fresh foods, local flavors. Let's play another movie clip, and it's about Twinkies. And let's see if you know what this one is from.
Hey, I brought some Twinkies. Anybody want one? Twinkies and wine? Oh, that's real class, Jan. It says right here, it is a dessert wine.
All right, so let's see if you know what movie that is from. And while you are reaching out to us, by the way, text word Zoom to 610-660-9333. Order up. All right, this is exclusively out of West Virginia. I thought this was interesting. 4 visitors bureaus have teamed up to share West Virginia's state food with people, both in and out of the state, by launching a digital passport to showcase the pepperoni roll's delicious origins. I don't know that I've ever had a pepperoni roll.
The original script for Raiders of the Lost Ark was not the search for the Lost Ark or the Covenant, but the origins of the pepperoni roll.
I devoured pepperoni rolls when I was in college, my sophomore year, because my roommate at the time, he was lactose intolerant. and his mom.
So the option was pepperoni?
Well, it was pepperoni rolls. That was a meal that she would make for him, and we would, and she would send, dozens of them to the house. And
is there usually cheese in a pepperoni roll?
There was no cheese in that pepperoni roll.
Okay.
I'm not I know this is sacrilege for a lot of people. I don't like pepperoni. I don't like pepperoni on pizza.
Okay.
I just don't like
Love it.
Clarksburg Visitor Center and the Marion County Convention and Visitors Bureau released the West Virginia Pepperoni Roll Trail on
Welcome, everyone.
Digital passport that allows visitors to check in at each location and earn points to collect prizes.
That is kind of cool.
Amy Comer, the executive director of the Clarksburg Visitor Center, said the pepperoni rolls are beloved state food, but it was created and commercialized in Clarksburg and Marion County. All the original bakeries are on this trail so people can get a real sense of our Italian Appalachian history. Participants can make their way to places like the adored Bonnie's Bell, and they can find unique takes on the delicacy, like the ground pepperoni and ramps used in the donut spot. I don't know what that means.
I think it means vagina.
We wanted to give people a map where they could go and what to try. Everyone has their own take on it. So to experience the variations, travelers and locals can register to participate in the West Virginia Pepperoni Roll Trail online and instantly receive a digital passport via email or text.
So, quick question. If you're hiking and you're walking along and you find food along the side, will you eat it? I will occasionally.
Yeah.
That's trail magic right there.
Yeah, it's trail mix.
No, it's trail magic. People will leave food along the trail, especially along the Appalachian Trail. It's called trail magic.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for thru hikers, if you're going to do a really long trail, trail magic is a common thing. And,
is it sealed properly? Or?
Sure. Yeah, it's safe.
I didn't know. Well, that's wonderful.
It's the kindness of strangers, Steve. I have family in West Virginia, and I went there last year. Sadly, it was for a funeral, but I had forgotten what a beautiful state it is. And it's a hard state to travel around. The roads are so windy, and it's not easy to get there, and it's not easy to get through there. But, man, is it a pretty state.
It's called trail magic.
Trail magic, yeah.
All right, so pepperoni roll in honor of West Virginia. Have one today. All right, let's see if you know what movie this is from. We're going to get somebody on the line.
Hey, I brought some Twinkies. Anybody want one? Twinkies and wine? Oh, that's real class, Jan. It says right here, it is a dessert wine.
All right, we have Lee that we are checking in with this morning via Zoom. Hey, Lee.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yo, bud.
Lee.
All right, Lee, what movie is the clip from, please?
That's from Greece.
It is from Greece? Yeah, hang on, bud. We're going to give you a $50 Acme Markets gift card. Acme Fresh Foods, local flavors. Congratulations, my man. Hang on just a second. We'll get your info and we will set you up. All right, another clip to play. Twinkie Palooza. Here we go.
Pick me up some Twinkies. There should be a little mini mart open, a couple blacks from the scene.
Twinkies? It's 2 a.m, you fat f***.
I don't know this movie.
I don't either.
Yeah.
All right, text the word Zoom to 610-660-9333, and we'll see if you know. All right, order up. All right, do we have this over?
Right here.
All right. I know I do the fast food roundup. I don't have one this week, but I do have an ice cream roundup. Ice cream! So I actually look for more, but I only have 2 stories concerning ice cream. But I do find weekly that there are multiple ice cream stories, so I might start an ice cream roundup.
Well, listen, we're coming into the season, and it is a part of the culinary experience that I think draws people's attention. I show me the person who can't find any type of ice cream that they like, and I'll show you a piece of crap.
Now, you guys know that ice cream is my jam. That's my jam. That's my go-to as far as desserts. I have not had any ice cream in over 3 months.
Wow.
I've been really good. I've lost over 25 pounds, and I've been working really, really hard on it, but I'm almost to my goal. And I'm about
What's your goal?
Dive back into ice cream.
26 pounds?
No, over. I think it's 28 altogether.
All right.
There's a number I'm trying to hit.
You like round numbers, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And then you put it all back on this during the summer?
Yeah, I did some ice cream. All right, but I haven't had ice cream in a while. I'm dying, and I was happy to see this story. We're in the middle of spring, but Dairy Queen is already prepared for the even warmer months, and they've welcomed its 2025 Summer Blizzard menu. So the chain also celebrates 85 years of business with a limited time 85-cent small blizzard deal. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. So through April 6th, DQ Reward members can find an offer in the app good for an 85-cent small blizzard treat with a purchase of $1 or more. But here's what's coming this summer. Excuse me. They will have the new mixing bowl mashup blizzard.
New mixing bowl mashup blizzard.
Vanilla soft serve swirled with brownie batter and chocolate chip cookie dough. So like what's left at the bottom of the mixing bowl when your mom was making brownies or chocolate chip cookies.
Digging that.
They have the new dipped strawberry cheesecake blizzard. So cheesecake pieces, choco chunks, and strawberry topping mixed into vanilla soft serve. They also have the S'mores Blizzard, which is returning due to fan voting. The S'mores Blizzard has vanilla soft serve mixed with marshmallow-filled chocolate bars.
I'm okay with that.
And graham crackers. Not bad. They also have the Confetti Cake Blizzard. It's a mix of cake pieces, confetti sprinkles, or jimmies, and vanilla soft serve. And then finally, the Cotton Candy Blizzard.
I'm not a massive funfetti fan. Yeah.
Not worth it at all.
Yeah, I don't dig on that or the cotton candy either.
Kill those people.
Vanilla soft serve spun with cotton candy topping and cotton candy sprinkles. So that's what they have coming up this summer.
I was at Home Goods earlier this week, and there was a kid that was with his grandmom, 2 people in front of me. And apparently that kid loves cotton candy. And he was just going on and on about how he loves, but he didn't say cotton candy. He was saying cotton candy. Or
Cotton?
Con candy? Con.
It was like con
candy.
But this kid was just going on and on about how he loved cotton candy, talking to the lady behind him. Invited the lady behind him to go to Rose Tree Park with them after they got done getting their cotton candy. He's like, we're going to Rose Tree Park. Do you want to come? And she's like, yeah, I guess I'll come. Okay, we're going to be in the parking lot, but we have to go to the cemetery first. It was hilarious. It was adorable, and it went on for like 10 minutes.
You know when you find something like that, you love it? I mean, you just want the world to know about cotton candy in Rose Tree Park.
Yep. All right. So here's the other ice cream story I have for you, and this is interesting. People thought this was an April Fool's joke, but it was not. It was an airline's publicity stunt involving snail ice cream.
Oh, God.
EasyJet handed down escargot flavored Jet Lotto, they called it. Jet Lotto, you get it, EasyJet. To passengers and those attending the launch of its new base at London Southend Airport on Monday. It was among 5 flavors representing different destinations that the airline is now flying to from the Essex terminal. However, several national newspapers assumed that the snail ice cream was a prank, and they included it in their April Fool's Day roundups. But it was legit. EasyJet's CEO and senior figures from the airport all attended a press conference to mark the return of the airline's base. And other promotional ice cream flavors handed out at the event included spicy tagine.
Tahine?
Tagine. I don't think that's
No,
tahine.
it's not tahine.
Then we have sangria flavor, pastel de nata, which is a Portuguese custard tart, and cacio e pepe.
Has anyone here had escargot?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
It's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
How can it be? It looks like snot.
It's very garlicky.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's, if you like garlic, and it's kind of got almost like a mushroom texture to it.
Is this a case where are you putting garlic on it and that's what makes it taste like garlic? Or is it a fact that in and of itself, it tastes like garlic?
I've never had it without that garlic flavor,
Okay.
but I mean, its texture is good, and with that flavor, it's
that's a
buttery
tough
and garlicky. It's really good. That should be the next thing you try. You've expanded to sushi.
Just got sushi started. Sushi's my next thing.
The escargot ice cream was described as, now this sounds gross, a snail-infused garlic ice cream with crunchy pieces to give a snail shell effect.
That's great.
There's nothing like crunching on shells. It makes me go,
I like some crunchy ice creams, though.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Like with texture, chocolate chips.
Sure. Nuts,
if you will.
and whatnot.
Like nuts.
All right. Let's see if you know what movie this clip is from.
Pick me up some Twinkies. There should be a little mini mart open, a couple blocks from the scene.
Twinkies? It's 2 a.m, you fat f***.
All right. We're going to go to Andy joining us via Zoom. Good morning to you, Andy.
Good morning, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, bud. All right, name that movie, please.
Mad Dog and Glory.
He is correct. Yeah. Mad Dog and Glory. Hold on, bud. You got yourself a $50 Acme Markets gift card if you're hungry and you're in a hurry. Acme's Flash Grocery delivery or pickup gets you fresh groceries in 30 minutes or less. Fast, fresh, and right at your door. Acme Fresh Foods, local flavor.
Is Heather Graham in that movie?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that movie's about.
Uma Thurman's in it.
Uma Thurman, that's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
All right, we need to move along. Here's the next. I'm sorry, but we're running way behind. So here's the next clip. Let's see if you can identify this.
Want a Twinkie Genghis Khan? Say please.
All right. If you know, then text in the word Zoom to 610-660-9333. Order up. Not really.
I saw the FF.
I know. I'm sorry.
man.
So on my notes here, I put an FF for fast food roundup, but I only have one story case. And
Well,
that's
does it
normally-
have to do with Popeyes by any chance?
It does.
Okay, good.
All right. Why?
Because I was hoping that you would hit on this. I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to talk about.
Popeyes is adding pickles to the menu.
Yeah, man.
All right, so it started April 1st. They are selling new menu items as well as revamping some of the old selections to feature pickles in the food. This limited time offering will only be available at participating Popeyes restaurants nationwide. The menu will include a pickle glaze sandwich featuring chicken coated in a zesty pickle flavored glaze, bone-in and boneless wings tossed in a bold, tangy pickle-flavored glaze.
It's a chicken sandwich?
And yes.
My bone's going.
And fried pickles served with a side of creamy ranch dipping sauce.
Pickles and chicken work well.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I'm curious to taste this because,
Are you?
Well, Chick-fil-A kind of pickle juice is part of their ingredients with
They marinate it.
Yeah, with marinated. So I wonder if this would reminiscent
I don't get to Popeyes. I don't get to Chick-fil-A that often. And I do love the food. I love that chicken from Popeyes.
Also, some drinks. Popeyes will be selling a tangy, sweet yet savory lemonade that's infused with real pickle juice, making for, quote, a surprisingly addictive sip that pairs perfectly with every item on the menu.
Yeah, I watched a reel where this girl taste tested everything, which I'm kind of over watching people bite into something and go,
I hate
you know, like, dude.
Same people did that stuff
Yeah.
for eating Tide Pods.
Just watch Preston.
Yeah.
Here.
But I trust him. He's not doing it for the camera. And like, so when people do that online taste, what are you going to do? You know,
Stop it.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I always think of you, Kathy, when I eat, because I was doing it last night. Made a great steak. We had
love
dinner. I
food.
had a bite, and I was just like, I love great flavor. I'm
going to shoot.
I emote.
Wait, speaking of Chick-fil-A, I ate at Cantina Feliz, which used to be in Fort Washington, and they've moved to Ambler. They're on Main Street in Ambler, and they have a, what was it called? I think it's called Chick-fil-A's tacos, and it's chicken tacos, but they make their version of Chick-fil-A's sauce and all of that. It was delicious. It was so good.
I like just the description sounded good.
Steve, it was so good.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I love chicken tacos.
All right, let's see if you know what movie this is from.
Want a Twinkie Genghis Khan? Say please.
All right, do we have a Zoomer, guys, who's ready to answer? All right, we will go next to Ryan. Hey, Ryan, morning, bud.
Hey, good morning, Gadzooks, guys.
Gadzooks, sir. All right, name the movie.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yes. Correct. Hold on, buddy. Got a $50 Acme Markets gift card. Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors. Congratulations to you, my friend. All right, we have one more clip and one more story, and let's see if you know what this Twinkie clip is from.
It became quickly apparent, however, that he did have one weakness. What are we doing here?
Well, take a look. It's a goddamn hostess truck.
Yeah, I see that. A hostess truck. So what?
I could use a Twinkie.
All right. What movie is that from? Text the word Zoom. You know what to do now. All right, one more story, and then we are done. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go with this one because of the subject of that film, which I'm not going to identify. We'll wait for a caller, but this has ties to that.
All right.
So, coffee lovers and zombie fans can unite. The Last of Us, the TV show, has teamed up with mushroom-centric coffee brand Four Sigmatic to drop a new brew that is made with real cordyceps, which is the very fungus that caused the apocalypse on the show The Last of Us. So this
That's a
actually
gimmick.
It actually has it infused in it.
I don't doubt that, and it could be a good taste.
Yeah, so it says
It
don't.
makes you a mindless automaton.
It says, don't worry, The Last of Us X4 Sigmatic coffee won't turn you into a clicker. It's actually packed with brain-boosting nutrients, lion's mane, it says, and B12. I assume lion's mane is a plant of
It's a
some
mushroom.
type. Okay. And it's available in dark roast or ground for $19.99.
I never knew that lion's mane was a mushroom.
You know what?
Yeah.
They have interesting names. So Carter got way into mushrooms. He gets into these things,
Right.
And then he runs.
He's like
for a
you.
while. And so he was always telling me about the different names and types of fungi, and we would walk around and. If we would go take hikes and things, and he would start to point out, he's like, "Oh, these are turkey feathers," and blah blah blah, and he would start,
It's like band names.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So
That's anthrax.
There's a lion's mane.
Did he know which ones were edible when you go hiking and stuff?
Not confidently enough.
Yeah, it's
You eat this, Dad.
well, it's a crapshoot. I mean, if you get it wrong, you're in trouble.
I discouraged him. From
That's
that
smart.
because it's just, man, one mistake.
It can be lethal.
And you die.
That woman prepared, we found out she did it on purpose after the fact, but I think she killed half her family.
Yeah.
Feeding them
That's right.
poisonous mushrooms.
Is that in Australia?
It's Australia, yeah.
So it's available in dark roast or ground for $19.99. This fungi-fueled coffee can be bought online now and is heading to store shelves in the next few weeks. So the new season debuts on April 13th. So if you want to order this ahead of time, you can do it online.
It's a cool idea.
And maybe get that.
Yeah.
And you might love the coffee, too. Who knows? All right, let's play this clip one more time and take a zoomer and see if we can get an answer. Here we go. What is this from?
It became quickly apparent, however, that he did have one weakness. What are we doing here?
Well, take a look. It's a goddamn hostess truck.
Yeah, I see that. A hostess truck. So what?
I could use a Twinkie.
All right, we go to Amy joining us this morning. Hi there, Amy.
Good morning.
All right, Amy, you know what movie that is. What is it?
It's Zombieland.
Yes! Zombieland. Hold on, Amy. You just netted a $50 Acme Markets gift card. Hungry and in a hurry, Acme's Flash Grocery Delivery or Pickup gets you fresh groceries in 30 minutes or less. Fast, fresh, and right to your door. Acme Fresh Foods, local flavor. So congratulations, Amy. Hang on the line. We'll get your information. And that's all the food news I have for you today, friends. Connoisseur, thank you, Steve Morrison, guest commentator today.
Oh, my pleasure. Great seeing you all in person.
And may you dive more into your sushi journey, my friend. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in a second. We have bizarre file stories and yet another announcement to share with you. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve
on 93.3.
So do you? So we have a friend of the show. He and his daughters, Michael and his daughters, Emma, and she is. She's using music as therapy, and it seems to be yielding incredible results. Do you find that, Jake?
Absolutely. The kids that I work with now just absolutely come alive. Like some of these kids can't really talk or communicate otherwise, and music provides them with a way to express themselves and just have a great time and socialize with their friends, all that good stuff.
We've often heard it said, and I've seen it in practice, where people who have a stutter, if they sing or if they use music, can get over that. Is there a similar process? Does that work as well with people on the spectrum?
Absolutely. It's like a way of kind of using meter to like regulate speech and all that kind of good stuff. It's just it's really, really cool. And my
awesome.
Girlfriend's actually my girlfriend's a speech therapist, so we love to trade tricks back and forth.
Oh, very cool. Well, you do good work. You do noble work.
All right. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. All right.
Thanks,
so these are things that you think people should know about your industry. I like this one. This says, I work in biomedical research. The most frustrating thing is that people seem to think that there's one cure for cancer and that the government or big pharma are hiding it. That is such an ignorant statement. Cancer is a collection of hundreds of diseases. Do you really think it is possible to have one cure for hundreds of diseases?
Do you know people who think that?
Why can't they find a cure for cancer? I mean, that's a standard phrase.
Yeah.
We also know
it goes on to say, hang on a second, Casey. It says, I work in biomedical. Oh, that's the same thing over and over. All right, go ahead, Casey.
So I was going to say, obviously we know that big pharma makes big money, and
there's some issues there.
But my brother is a chemist, and there's also a lot of wasted money, right? So my brother was researching and trying to come up with literally a cure for cancer, and they would spend months, if not years, on reactions, and then they would get to that like final testing stage, and it turns out it didn't work, and everything that they did is scrapped, and they have to start from square one, and that is happening every day, all over the country. And so there's a lot of wasted money. And I don't want to say wasted money, but there's a lot of, wasted
you also
research.
have office parties and things that they require a lot too, like pizza parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, a cure for a cancer, right? A type of cancer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And have they cured cancers along the way? Are there ones that used to exist but don't any longer that they have cures for?
Like Dr. Mike says, we're living in amazing times right now.
So they
cancer
do?
treatment. Well, I mean, like he says, and Michael say, no one need ever die of thyroid cancer. No one need ever die of prostate cancer.
Right.
And a lot of that is also early detection.
I'm going to go next to Jesus, a truck driver. Jesus, good morning.
Oh, my goodness, I love that.
What's up, man?
All right. As a truck driver, there's two things.
Yeah.
These cars, they tend to switch lanes without signaling in front of you and braking. We haul 80,000 pounds. We cannot stop.
Yes.
On the dot. And there were countless times that I almost hit other cars because of situations like that.
Jesus, in a fully loaded truck, how long does it take you to come to a full stop if you're traveling at 40 miles an hour?
For 45, I'm going to say 55 miles an hour, like on the turnpike, for example, where there's hardly any vehicles.
Right.
Half a football field.
Wow. Some people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Also, like I feel like I get nervous with truck drivers. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Excuse me, can I get over? Like,
So we all know trucks don't have that acceleration that cars do, but what you might not be thinking about is the stopping ability.
Right.
So that's what Jesus wants people to know.
Exactly.
They
And
can't.
that's one more thing. The right side of the cab, there's a huge blind spot.
Yep.
And cars tend to ride on that side, and sometimes I cannot see vehicles on that side in my mirrors, and I have so many mirrors.
Right. And I've read signs on trucks that say if you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you.
Can't see you.
Absolutely.
So
exactly.
That's what I always try to keep in mind. If I'm near a truck and I can't see the mirror, I try to get in a position where if I'm going to stay in that zone, that they can at least I can see a mirror so they can see me.
Jesus, have you ever provided cover for someone trying to elude Smokey and they will drive under the truck and just hide out there like in Smokey and the Bandit? You ever do that?
he's like,
I guess not.
No.
So that the movies must have lied to us.
Wait, and Jesus, last question. A truck driver once told me, like, if we're going to pass the truck, like, do it. Just go past.
Yeah.
Don't linger
Yes.
anywhere there.
Yeah.
Just pass them.
Just pass.
Yeah.
I even have cars like they linger right on my trailer. Don't do that. Goodness. Like I be having my signal on. I be wanting to switch lanes.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they want to speed up and stay in the middle of my trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, just clear. Get out of the way.
go.
Move.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Agreed. So let's say the truck is doing 60 miles an hour. You don't want to go any faster than 60 miles an hour. You're with that truck right next to it. Live a little. Go crazy. Bump it up to 65 for about 30 seconds. Pull over into their lane and then temper back to 60, and you guys will be going the same speed, and that left lane is now clear.
Yeah.
Go crazy.
By the way, that's the law in Jersey. You're only supposed to use that left lane for passing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Most places are that way for sure. All right, let me read a couple of others. I know we have a ton of calls on the line. Here's one that says, lifeguard, I am not a babysitter. It is your job as a parent to watch your kid when swimming, and if they can't swim, you have to be in the water within 5 feet of them at all times.
If there's an emergency, the lifeguards will help.
Another one, librarian. Public libraries are not safe places to drop off your kids. It's not the books that are unsafe. It's the other patrons and the fact that librarians are not babysitters. Here you go. Here's another thing that people in their industry understand, but the general public doesn't grasp. A zoo worker says, yes, the animal is in the exhibit. Sometimes you have to look a little bit longer than 8 seconds in order to see it.
Well, a lot of them also
I've
have.
stood there and gone, Where is it?
There's nothing in there.
And then you'll see like the cheetah behind a tree. You'll see a tail popping out. It's like, oh no, I came on the wrong day.
Here's from a designer. It says, if you want to fit a portrait image into a landscape canvas, you either have to crop it, leave a black or white border, or empty space left or right, or distort it, which is almost always a bad idea. On a regular occurrence, clients are unhappy with either of these options, and they just want me to somehow make it fit. I don't know about all that.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about, say, during the day on radio that people listening think that
okay,
that
here's
happens?
the deal. There's no secret way to win a contest, okay? Like, it's at the discretion of whoever is on the air, of what number caller they take, when they ask for you to call in, when they even start answering the calls after they tell you to call in. There's no special line that gets you here quicker. You don't need to wait 10 seconds before you start dialing. You don't need to dial right a little bit beforehand. It is completely arbitrary. There is no way.
No,
so
and
I've had people throughout my career ask me, how do I win a contest? It's like, dude, it is luck of the draw. That's all there is to it.
That's exactly true. And yet, bizarrely, there are certain areas that will get in easier, when we have a contest. It's just the luck of the draw.
Here's one from a dentist, and they simply say, flossing actually helps.
Yeah, it does.
You should know.
I've been flossing for a few years now, and ever since I started flossing, I've had. Well, I don't want to jinx anything, but
yeah, no, dude. I used to. I would have be brushing my teeth and spit it out, and like blood would be in there, and I'm like, I talked. This is years and years and years ago. I asked my dentist. They're like, are you flossing? No.
Oh.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Gingivitis. Floss, and that will stop happening, and it sure enough did.
And dentists and dental hygienists can tell when you don't. So like,
because there's plaque buildup
right?
in there.
But if you're trying to hide it, and there's just no point in lying to them, saying, yeah, I floss every day, and if you don't, they'll know.
I've been flossing, I think, since I had teeth.
Yeah, well, my toothbrush is also a water pick simultaneously. Ooh. So as I'm brushing my teeth, it's a water pick.
Steve, I got that one for Jace.
Awesome.
All right, let me go.
It's loud as hell, though.
I'm going to go to Alex. Hey, Alex, good morning.
Good morning. Sorry for bothering you at work.
Nah, we're happy. What's your line of work?
So I am a vet technician, and one thing that I really wish people would understand is that vet med is at an all-time low with staffing shortages. Since the pandemic started and we went curbside, everyone wants to get their pets in. Everyone adopted a lot of animals. We are trying to see them, but if Fluffy has a minor ear infection, if it takes 3 weeks for an appointment, that's the best we can do for you.
Okay.
So you guys are just overloaded and overworked.
Overloaded and overworked.
All right, what about when you're not overloaded and overworked? What is something that people need to know about your industry?
An ear infection is not an emergency.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I have one. So I have a friend who worked for the Sixers and worked in the sports industry her whole life. And she said, no, I don't just work the games. I work all day, and then I work at night during the games as well.
Right. There you go. I like this one. It says, this is from an audio engineer. It says, not every problem with audio is feedback. Feedback is when the sound goes out of the speakers and back through the microphone and loops around and around. Ground hum is not feedback. Noise is not feedback. Echo off the wall is not feedback. And then this one I love. They said, and speak up, people. The microphone isn't magic. You need to be heard, which is true. You guys all know. If you're at an event and somebody's holding the microphone down at their waist,
bring it up,
or barely speaking into the mic, you still need to project on a microphone.
Why do people do that?
I don't know. Well, I think they're not used to hearing their own voice.
And also, people who haven't spoken on microphones a lot don't know the technique. That's understandable. Not everyone is hooked up to a PA all day.
Let me go to Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, guys. How are you this morning?
We're awesome. What do you do, Tracy?
I work for unemployment.
Unemployment.
Okay.
So a lot of people think that unemployment is like a fun net. Oh, if I work 2-3 years and I don't like my job, I can quit and get paid. And unfortunately, unemployment is legit an insurance like your car insurance.
Okay.
So if you quit your job because you say, oh, I just didn't like my boss, I can pretty much tell you you're going to be denied.
You're not. You have to be fired, or there has to be something like that. You just simply can't say, I'm going to take some time off.
And then I'll get the ones who have
entered the workforce like 2 years ago, and they're like, but I paid all that money into unemployment. You paid $260 into unemployment in 2 years. If you want your $260, we'll give it to you. But, well, we weren't really. But that $10,000 you see that you're clean, maybe, that's because we're charging your employer. So you have to have a actual reason that is under the law that states, okay, we can pay you.
Let's make it Friday official.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Sequoia Outback. Stop in for their annual Spring into Sequoia sale going on now, Route 309 in Hatfield, or at decksupplies.com. You can experience the ultimate in outdoor living at Sequoia Outback. And by the way, we have an announcement right after the Bizarre File. So let's get to the first story. A 50-year-old man has appeared in court after being charged as a chicken thief.
Chicken thief?
This is true. A Port Orchard, Washington man allegedly violated an order of protection by breaking into his ex-girlfriend's house and then stealing her chicken. The call for help came
Son of a bitch.
in the early morning of March 29th from a woman who said that her former boyfriend invaded her home and snatched her pet chicken named Polly.
Where's my chicken?
He allegedly screamed, "I've got Polly!" several times before running away, chicken in hand. After a brief but intense search, authorities found the man hiding in the woods. Body cam footage shows the man hiding in bushes as police approached him at gunpoint. Steve, they had to bring in a hostage negotiator from KISS to actually talk him out of it.
This criminal.
So he can be heard yelling, "Don't hurt my chicken!"
Don't you dare choke that chicken.
As the deputy quickly reassures him, "I won't hurt your chicken." Responding deputies allowed the man to place Polly safely in a patrol vehicle before
the target.
taking him into custody and charging him with
can take him out now.
residential burglary and violating a court order of protection. County jail records showed that the man actually had only been released from custody less than 3 hours before the incident.
And then turns right around and kidnaps a chicken?
And steals the chicken.
God damn it.
He faces a maximum of 10 years in prison for the burglary and a year and some fines for violating a court order. The mayor of a North Dakota city promptly resigned after texting a city attorney a video of himself spanking it on his lunch break, which he claims was sent by accident.
Another chicken choker.
Yeah. The now former mayor of Minot, North Dakota, Tom Ross.
Look what I can do.
Pulled himself out of office Wednesday.
I have something I have to do.
After a short sexual harassment investigation into the lewd video he sent to a female city attorney in January. Ross said in a statement, "I do take responsibility for the mistake. I tried to immediately correct it and was unable."
He tried to immediately correct it.
Stop. Yeah.
The decision I made falls in line with all of my work on behalf of the city of Minot. I put my heart and soul into this community.
Into that pleasure.
Ross tried to put the jack back in the box, explaining that to the woman that he recorded the sexy video for his girlfriend on his lunch break and requested the attorney delete the smut and keep the entire incident between the two of them. He later told city investigators that his girlfriend's name also begins with the letter C.
That's the problem.
Which is why the vulgar vid was mistakenly sent to a contact saved as city attorney.
Show me the woman who would like receiving that video.
Stahlheim filed an official harassment report 2 weeks later asking for a formal apology from the mayor, requesting he consider resigning.
Look, my boyfriend's always thinking of me.
The investigation found that Ross directly caused Stahlheim inability to work in an environment free from unreasonable sexual harassment and create an offensive work environment.
Jeez.
They will now have 15 days in which residents can petition to hold a special election, or they will reappoint a new one.
Have you ever made the mistake of hitting reply all when you have your self-pleasuring videos up on the company
yet.
email?
Not yet.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
In Washington State, the Linwood Police Department says its officers arrested 17 shoplifters in one day, all at the same store. On March 29th, officers and detectives conducted a special retail theft emphasis at a store called Fred Meyer. And detectives say they saw countless people confidently shopping, loading up shopping carts, and then walking directly out of the store with a full cart. The department says that people made no effort to try and hide the items that they were stealing. Over half the individuals arrested did not live in the city of Linwood. And in February, police arrested 14 people in a 6-hour special emphasis targeting retail theft at that same store.
No security guard? Nobody standing out front to check receipts and stuff like that?
Not sure. All right, here's a cute story. These days, love is in the air at elementary schools, as even kids that young have been known to say that they're quote-unquote dating.
Aww.
Most parents think it's cute and harmless, so they don't worry too much about their little ones having a crush on a classmate. But one mom had to get involved when her first grader came home with an expensive piece of jewelry from her new boyfriend. Allie Phillips recently shared the funny story on TikTok after her daughter returned from school with the news that she had a new guy in her life. The little girl previously had the same boyfriend, Brandon, since kindergarten, and they were even planning to get married one day. But that all changed when the girl's classmate, Trevor, asked her to be his girlfriend and gave her a ring to seal the deal. Not a ring pop or a plastic toy one. This was a real gold and diamond ring.
Oh, my God.
So in the clip, the mom says she broke up with Brandon, her kindergarten boyfriend of almost a year, for Trevor, who just rolled up with the ring. Knowing it must be someone's ring, she reached out on Facebook to see who might know Trevor, and soon his mom responded, and it turns out the kid had swiped the ring from his great-grandma during a recent visit, and the family had no idea. And it's now being returned to her, and hopefully Trevor has learned not to give away family heirlooms.
Sweetie, you got to lock this kid down.
All right, and it's an engagement
It's
ring.
a beautiful ring, yeah.
All right, and there you go. That is what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, it's announcement time, people. And we have a guest who is here to talk about this particular announcement. We are excited for the return of the I Bleed for Preston and Steve blood drive. So it is going to happen yet again. And we are excited to return once again to a couple of locations. Now, we have a new twist on it this year. It's going to be over the course of 2 days. And scheduling is why we had to make this happen this way.
Sometimes you got to do it.
So Thursday, June 12th at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. And then Friday, June 13th at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center at Oaks. We've been at both of those locations for the past few years. We've usually done them on the same day, but because of scheduling, we have to do one on Thursday and one on Friday. But you can schedule your appointment now on the Red Cross Blood Donor app or by visiting redcrossblood.org. Use the sponsor code WMMR to get all the information. And we have here to talk about this morning the CEO of the local Red Cross. Please welcome Jennifer Graham.
Good morning.
Hi, how you doing, Jennifer?
Awesome.
It is good to see you. CEO. We got the big cheese here this morning for this one. All right, so so we have June 12th and June 13th, and part of this is for us to get out in advance so people are still eligible if they want to donate. And I believe, is it 56 days?
It's 56 days for a regular whole blood donation, 112 if you do our Power Reds.
Okay. And you will be collecting Power Reds at our blood drive as well, correct?
sure
yes.
will.
People always do that.
Yes.
So the last day that you can donate blood and still be eligible to do so again is April 17th.
All right.
So
It's my wife's birthday.
If you want to schedule this now, you've got a couple of weeks to play with here. And you can get in that donation and then do it again. So if you're a regular donor,
Yes.
or if you want to, your first time kickoff, go to that one and take it out for a test drive and then come to our
Yes.
blood drive. You can do it that way as well.
That's right.
So by the way, so over 2 days, this actually might be more convenient for you and the volunteers, right?
Yes, certainly. And it will help us maintain that safe and stable blood supply, having a couple of days of collection being sponsored by Preston and Steve.
Listen, we're happy to give up the safety if it means breaking a record. So.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, technically, if it's falling, so we're running it one day. If it's within a 24-hour period, if they both sit within the same zone.
Absolutely.
Because we do like to look at how much we collect, but I get it. And sometimes you just can't get it done. So,
well, your blood drive is legendary no matter what. So we'll be fine.
By the way, I can judge by the amount of bombardment I get from the Red Cross as far as need. And I'm getting tons constantly. So I assume we are at really critical need right now, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So the Red Cross supplies about 40% of the nation's blood supply. And we want to make sure your blood drive is right before the kickoff of summer, but the need for blood doesn't take a holiday, doesn't take a vacation, doesn't go on summer break. So making sure that we've got that nice supply at all times is critical. You also think about right now, we have all those storms that happen right in our own region.
That's
and then
right.
Right now, Missouri, the Ohio Valley, Tennessee, they're being impacted by major storms. And right now they're worrying about shelter and food. They're not worrying about collecting blood. So the benefit of having a national supply is that we have the ability to support other regions if needed.
What kind of inroads are being made as far as, because it's an ephemeral thing, a blood supply, but lengthening the amount of time it can be stored, is that making any sort of progress? What is the average length of time that blood can be stored for use?
So it really depends on the type of product that we collect, right? So you have your regular transfusion of red cells, people that need those in emergencies and traumas. And you think about that trauma patient that comes in and before they're cross-typed and matched, they're getting that O negative blood, that universal donor. You think about that college student who has sickle cell disease, right? And, they're waiting for that transfusion that's going to ease that burden of pain. Most of those red cell products last about 42 days. And then you also have a colleague of ours, their son is going through cancer treatment right now, and they're receiving platelet transfusions, but those only last 3 to 5 days.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know I knew that there's a fairly quick turnaround, but I didn't know that fast.
Right.
Okay, and that's why the constant need.
That's why the constant need. And while technology and innovation is always out there, there's not enough truly on the shelves for us to really kind of stockpile.
So it all begins and ends with your donation.
Exactly
you can break it into different things and get as many as 40 days for certain aspects of it. But whatever it is, the turnover is constant.
Absolutely.
Jem, one of the things we like to drive home is for people to check out the requirements ahead of time. And there's information that you can fill out before you go for your appointment to make things move a little more quickly. But sometimes you are not eligible. And it may be things that you haven't thought of. What are some of the more common reasons that people aren't eligible when they sign up to donate?
Blood pressure may be too high, but we check your blood pressure that morning. Your iron may be too low. You may take a medication that excludes you from being able to donate at that time. But certainly, we encourage people to look ahead of time to see their eligibility, to make sure that they can come in and give. And then we do a health history check day of to make sure that you're ready to go that day.
Yeah, right. And then there's travel restrictions. And
there are some
like
travel restrictions, but they keep on changing a bit. So we certainly encourage people to go to redcrossblood.org to take a look at the current list, and certainly call as well if they have any questions.
So by doing that too, listen, we're looking to maximize as many appointments as we can. Listen, if you show up and a lot of times people have low iron or whatever, it's understandable. You made the effort. That's all that matters. But if we can make sure that you're ahead of time, doing all the things you can to make sure you'll be eligible, that'd be great.
I will say one thing too. You want to make sure that this is opposite. You have about 10% of donors that come into your drive are first-time donors.
Yeah.
Giving for really the very first time, and they could be somebody who just turned 16 or 17, they're coming with a parent, or they're in their 40s or 50s and they said, I want to give this year.
Right.
We want to make sure that people come in. It's opposite from when, fasting for a blood test. You want to make sure you come in well hydrated and that you've eaten. Have those Twinkies before you come in. And then, make sure that you are full and well hydrated.
And to that point, after your blood donation, you're going to get some kick-ass cookies and
Lorna
juices.
Doones.
Lorna Doones.
Yes.
Apple juice.
Sometimes Famous Amos I've had. Yeah, it's all cool.
A nice variety of snacks.
Excellent. All right, so you can do this now. You can get signed up right now. From what I understand, if you go to redcrossblood.org, or if you have the app, it's even easier to do it on there, and use the sponsor code. Just type in WMMR, and you will be able to track that down. So I'm going to reiterate this information again. Thursday, June 12th, Live Casino Hotel Philadelphia. Friday, June 13th, where we will be broadcasting live from at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center at Oaks. And on that Thursday at Live, I believe we'll have representation of the radio station. I'm not 100% sure, but usually Pierre does a live broadcast. And Brent Porsche will do a live broadcast. So we'll get those details to you soon. But you can make this now, and we want to get this out in advance so that you can donate before. And the deadline on that is April 17th. So that will allow you to still come in and be a part of it.
So I'm not sure if this is true or not, but is this the first time we've ever done a blood drive on a Friday the 13th?
Oh,
yes, it's very appropriate. There was a lot of bloodletting at Camp Crystal Lake.
I mean, we've been doing it for over 20 years.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Preston,
what?
Are we going to go for another world record in the Munchkin toss?
We have to.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I mean, it's become tradition now.
I mean, it was
My
amazing.
arm gave out on me last time we were trying so many times.
But we did it.
We'll give it a shot. And Jen, is there, if people would like to be a part of the Red Cross, they can also go to redcrossblood.org?
Redcross.org. We can even
Just
simpler.
Red
Just
Cross.
redcross.org. There's lots of ways to get involved.
Okay, awesome. Well, we thank you guys. Listen, we know... Listen, it's obviously what you need, but it's also a big operation and a couple, now 2 days that are going to take a lot of people and a lot of moving parts. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
All right, we got it. All right, Jen, thanks. CEO of the Red Cross, and the blood drive is on, folks. So I would say go to PrestonandSteve.com or WMMR.com, but there might be some issues with the website.
It's in the same box with our telephones.
So just go to redcrossblood.org. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, and Luis J. Gomez performing at Punchline. He'll be joining us. Stay with us.
Because you deserve it.
And that is usually, most often, termination, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for the heads up, Tracy. Appreciate it. All right. Well, it's really interesting. We have a load of great calls, and we don't have time to go to them because we have to go. We got to go on Fox Good Day this morning, so we got to do that. But it's interesting that we all have these things that we do for a living, and especially if you're in a job where you have regular customers and so on, that maybe they don't quite get exactly that little thing that everybody should know but don't understand. But thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. We should create a place where people can
at least post,
mention these things because there's a lot out there. So, but anyhow, thank you for your calls. We appreciate it. We got to take a break. We're going to come back in a moment. We are going to go live on Fox Good Day, and we are going to get to the Bizarre File when we return. So stay with us. We won't be gone long. What clip is this? What clam chowder clip is this movie from?
Of all the many.
What clam chowder? What movie is this clam chowder clip? Dude, I had the toughest night sleeping last night.
Why?
Didn't drink, wouldn't have been drinking or nothing, man. I just feel like that's a Gary Lauer impression. But anyhow.
Maybe you should have drank.
Did you have some bad clam chowder last night?
I may have. Here's the clip for you.
I'll have the clam chowder, the fried chicken with the baked potato with everything, and a chocolate chiffon pie.
Clean food, please. In that case, sir, may I advise against the lady eating the clam chowder? No clam chowder, thank you.
All right, let's go to Derek and see if he knows. Derek, do you know what movie that's from?
Great. The morning is Fight Club.
Fight Club is correct. Nice job, Derek. I want you to hang on the line. You are going to go to the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks for the Philly Home and Garden Show, which is this weekend. And hang on the line. By the way, you can save on tickets at phillyhomeandgarden.com. Discount courtesy of Xfinity. Little known, or maybe it's known to everybody but me, but the waiter in that scene, that's Ed Kowalczyk of the band Live.
Hey. You can see with this still,
Yeah, that's very cool.
How cool is Helena Bonham Carter, man?
Oh, she's
so good. And then you were talking about the Harry Potter reunion. She was phenomenal and funny and great.
She kept her teeth.
Yeah, she did. She kept her teeth in the role,
by the way, speaking of clam chowder, I had some exceptional clam chowder this past weekend. I went to Florida to visit my mom and sister, and there's this restaurant called Leverox there. And I get clam chowder only when I know it's going to be good clam chowder. It's fantastic.
Do I need to revisit clam chowder?
Oh,
I have not been a fan for years.
I don't know if you like the texture. Because you're not like...
Are there real chunks of clam?
There's clam. I mean, in
not
good...
huge chunks.
Which to me
usually
is
a little bit.
Yeah,
it's like chicken noodle soup, you know? There's just a little bit of chicken in it.
Yes.
If it's done right.
Chicken
The
noodle
place-
soup with snot.
The place that we went to
Snot soup, please?
Chicago. What was the name of that place?
The fancy beef place?
Yeah.
Gibson's.
Welcome to the fancy beef place.
Yeah.
Steak was
Hey,
the word I was looking
guess
for.
what? We clean the silverware.
What was the name?
It was Gibson's.
Gibson's.
That was the second Blessed?
Yeah.
Have a blessed meal.
Have a blessed New England clam chowder. Second best New England clam chowder I ever had. Best was ever at Abe and Louie's in Boston.
In Boston, yeah. And Kathy, clams aren't snot. That's
Steve said it. That's why I was saying it's
that's
like
oysters.
chicken noodle
Oysters are
soup
snot.
with
Yeah,
snot.
clams are a little bit
More like a full-blown loogie.
But clams are kind of snotty as well.
when they're cooked in clam chowder, they're a little more firm.
Yeah, they're
I'll tell you
rubbery.
what, Dr. Mike has started to try to get me into the like oysters and stuff like that, and the bottoms up event, they had like top oyster places, and so I guess he recommended just kind of letting it slide down and not just letting it.
Yeah, you don't chew on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was okay.
I need to give you a little backing on why I hate these things. It's how disgusting my father eats. When we were kids, we would watch my dad dig his hand into the sand and pull out a clam, crack it open, and eat it while still standing in the ocean. 1,000%. Oh, you ask anyone in my family
He
who
would
has
just
ever
eat
been
clams off the beach.
Oh my God! Pull them up, crack it open. We would be horrified. He'd do it with mussels too.
What do you do with seagulls?
Somebody who's doing that.
Hand me that seagull.
Somebody who's doing that is not really enjoying it. I think they're just doing it for the shock value. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was a big crowd. It was us. It was
wouldn't
the
sit there and go,
family.
oh my God, I could sit here and all day and eat these.
Is
No,
there a
he-
risk to doing? I mean, obviously, that's where they're coming. That's where they're coming from anyway.
Yeah.
But is there any sort of right? I mean, is there a risk?
Preston, I think he enjoyed it.
Okay.
I mean, I would watch him. I remember. I
All
can
right.
physically see it. He would take another shell. He would scrape it out, make sure he got what at the time for me looked like snot.
Yeah.
And he would scoop it into his mouth. And,
I could
and eat it.
I could see your dad doing that just like out of boredom. Like he's standing in the ocean. He's like, oh, here's a clam. I can eat this.
Hey, if people would fall asleep on the beach, he would eat them.
Hey, Preston, by the way, which type of clam chowder did you have this weekend?
New England.
Okay.
I'm a strictly New England guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
What are the variations? What are the others?
Manhattan clam chowder, which is
Oh,
more
yes.
of like a tomato soup.
I think that's
base.
what I had. Yeah.
I like the creamy clam chowder.
You know what's not
Marissa?
bad? I'm sorry. Is the Campbell's clam chowder.
Haven't had that.
It's pretty good.
Okay, Marissa.
I'm going to recommend to you guys the next time you're heading to the shore, go the back roads and shoot. I forget if it's on 55 maybe, but there's a place called Sweet Amalia's, and they actually have an oyster farm somewhere in like the Cape May area. It's the best Manhattan clam chowder I've ever had.
Okay.
Are they free range oysters?
They are right off the coast of Cape May.
Okay.
All right, we'll have to try that. So anyhow, I'm going to double back a second here, and Kathy's dad reaching into the ocean and pulling out a clam and breaking it out and eating it in front of people might be mildly embarrassing if you're a kid. It's kind of what I wanted to focus on in this particular conversation. There is a news reporter, and he was on location, about ready to do a shoot, and I guess I don't know if he's fairly new or whatever, but he and the camera person are setting up. And this was in Ohio. His name is Miles Harris, and he was prepping for a live segment, and all of a sudden he's chatting with his cameraman, and they're rolling. They're not live, but they are rolling.
Right.
And his mom drives up.
Oh, my God.
And I have a clip to play of this as his mom rolls up. Here we go.
Is it cousin? This is my mom. Hold on. I'm trying to work right now. You over there calling my phone. This is D'Angelo. You can say hi. And don't be holding up traffic because you got cars behind you.
All right.
Did you record that?
I love it. I love it.
That's very cute.
It's so cute.
Proud, though.
And so I thought maybe some conversation about when your parents would embarrass you, your mom or your dad. God, there's the world is rife with stories like this. So not exactly like this, but my mom does this thing. I finally had to tell her, please stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
As an adult?
I've told you guys about this before, but it's and especially when she would visit here, come here to visit me, and say we go out to a restaurant. And the server comes over to the table and is just doing their job and taking our order. And my mom will go, do you listen to the radio?
Oh, right.
Oh, my God.
My son is on the radio. And I'm like, no, please, Mom, don't, and I wouldn't say it
I'm
then
not
and
her
there.
son.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it then and there, but I'm just like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But it's because she's so proud.
Yes, it's because she's so proud. Like this mom stopping by.
My son is on the radio. Could we have a price consideration because of that?
It's just she wants to hear
Free clams?
that other people, listen to her son or whatever.
Except
It's
for the
adorable.
server.
The hard time, the thing that I can't quite get to them to understand, because my sister would do it too, but my mom specifically, is that, listen, yes, we have a very popular radio show. Not everyone listens to the show, Mom. And if this person has never heard of me, you have officially made it very awkward in this moment for me to go, I do a radio show. Yes, we're on it. Oh, I've never heard of you guys before. Okay, that's great.
Cool.
I used to listen sometimes.
Sorry, I don't listen.
Yeah.
Or like when they have to pretend like they do listen.
Yeah.
They're like, I've heard of you.
And I always say,
guys.
and then it's okay. It's absolutely fine. I know, but the damage has been done at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it happened over and over and over and over again.
And you finally said something.
I did. I'm like, you guys, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me because it can be very embarrassing.
A good way to nip it in the bud is when the waiter comes over, you jump out first and say, I'm going to put my mother in a very bad retirement home.
There's a TikTok mom who drops her son off to school every day. He's a teenager. He is in high school, and she brings a megaphone. And every time he gets out of the car, she yells, "I love you."
Why would she do that?
Because she's a TikTok mom. She wants to put it on TikTok. But like now it's become this thing. So the kid just looks at her. He's like, "Mom, not today, Mom." And then you see him. He like gets out of the car and runs. But like you can see the other kids at the school. They know that like Mom's gonna do this. But just a simple like I love you or a hug and a kiss at a certain age can be embarrassing.
It's like into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
3-3 WMMR.
All right, thanks, guys. So next guest got a couple gigs in town tonight, tomorrow night at Punchline Philly. 2 shows each night, 7 and 9:15. And, of course, you can get those tickets at punchlinephilly.com. Please welcome Luis J. Gomez joining us via Zoom. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
We're doing well. Thanks for coming on this morning.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping me try to sell some more tickets. Let's go, Philly.
That's what we do, brother. Hey, listen, we know you're good friends with one of our friends, Big J. Okerson. You guys are tight, Legion of Skanks and all that good stuff. So do you, I know you have fans here in Philly, but by osmosis through Big J, do you also have an even like bigger following in the Philly area?
No, I wish I did.
Okay.
That son of a bitch is not putting. We were just talking, Louis, about the time that you the dude rushed him. I think it was at Soul Joe's or whatever, and he told the story, man, and you were like a Marvel hero. You jumped in and interceded, so he owes you.
That is what is the statute of limitations on that story? I would say that we gave the guy a nice talking to, as we would say. If you watch the video, what's kind of funny is because I was so out of shape at the time, the guy grabbed Jay's legs and I saw it happening. And I'm running like in slow motion, not because it's like dramatic, just because I'm slow. And I try to kick the guy, but I missed him. I missed the guy. And then we all jumped off a stage and he pulled Big J on top of him. And Big J fell on top of him like a refrigerator falling over on a child. The guy did more damage to himself with Big J's fat body than
When we first started, Jay I think he's a slighter image of himself these days. He's lost a lot of weight. When he first started coming in here, he was much bigger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been able to? Because obviously you do jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. You can handle yourself. Have you ever tried to interest him in anything like that, or is that that ain't going to happen?
Jay is a lazy piece of crap. There's no getting Jay to do jujitsu. He just bought a house in Jersey now, and he's got a gym in it. I promise you right now, all the weights are just going to collect dust. He's going to say dirty words to his weights.
He's going to hang his laundry on it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, you're coming in town. Are you? You're not here yet, but you're getting in later today. Is that the story?
Yeah, I'm getting in later today.
Okay.
I got a final. My podcast, Louis and Zach, is ending today, so we're doing a final farewell show.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a shame. I'm just very busy. My son's getting out of school in a few weeks, and I just want to be able to spend some time with him. I'm touring so much. I do Legion of Skanks with Big J. We do Story Wars together, which is a really new popular podcast that me and Big J do. And then you probably know these guys too. I do another like super show with Robert Kelly, Dan Soder, and Joe List.
Love them all. Love them all.
Regs.
Hey,
they're
listen.
all brilliant.
We were actually just talking about Dan Soder this morning because the trailer for the Megan 2.0 came out. He is not credited in this movie, but I swear to God, I watched his head get twisted off in this trailer. Can you confirm or deny whether or not he is in this movie?
Can I see the? I didn't see the trailer.
Oh
I
man,
had no idea.
is there any way
me.
we can share this with him?
I would love to see it.
Okay.
I hope he gets his head really twisted off. To be honest,
for real.
It's a big head, by the way.
Head.
It's huge.
We saw a few people to twist his giant head off.
Yeah.
I got to commend you, Louis. You know, you are a classic take the bull by the horns kind of guy with the podcasting and setting up the studio and having a lot of foresight with this stuff. Did you have one of those epiphany moments where you said, "Let me get out ahead of this," or how did it come to be that you were kind of the one leading the charge on a lot of this?
Yeah, I've been podcasting, for a very long time, maybe 16 years or so.
Yeah, you're one of the first names that popped up in all this.
Yeah. We started our studio and network. It'll be nearly a decade now that we actually started the network Gas Digital. And we were podcasting before there was a cancel culture. Like people are always like, "Oh my God, Legion of Skanks, you guys are crazy. You said all that stuff." You're like, "Well, no. We didn't know the way the internet was going to work. If I knew the way the internet was going to work, I wouldn't have said any of the things that we said in the beginning of our careers." But yeah, look, I'm always the guy that, I've never been an industry darling. I've never been a guy that was sort of like, getting all the big things. And I did a lot of stuff. I did Just for Laughs and I did Last Comic Standing and I did a lot of things you're supposed to do as a young comedian. And none of those things ever materialized into anything the way that podcasting and building my own audience did. So, as soon as I had an opportunity to do this with my partner, Ralph Sutton, we created Gas Digital. We created Skankfest, which is the biggest comedy festival in the country as well. That's been going on for 8 years now. And instead of waiting for people to hand me things, I just make them myself.
Do you recall one moment where you thought to yourself, where you could just kind of took a deep breath and realized your autonomy because of all the work you'd put in? Was there one moment that you can recall where you said, "Okay, I'm pulling all the levers now"?
It was about 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
About 3 days ago. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to be okay.
You never quite lose that.
When they invited me on Preston and Steve, I was like, you know what? I think I've made it at this point.
Well, it's funny, we were talking about this. They're doing this tribute show to Joan Rivers, and I always bring this up, man, because she had the documentary that, a couple of years before she died about her, and it showed her going through her gigs that were up. And even at that point in her career, man, when she would see an empty date or something like that, she would freak out. So I guess it's something you never lose, right? Especially in your line of work, even with the podcast, even with the network, even with all that stuff. If you're a touring working comedian, does that still give you agita when you see empty spots on the calendar?
We're just desperate for attention. That's all it is. We our parents didn't hug us enough. We don't get enough attention from our wives and kids at home. So we need a bunch of strangers to validate who we are and that we're actually great. We're narcissists, guys. I don't know how many I know you've had a lot of comics on the show. You do realize the through line here is we're all narcissists and we think and talk about ourselves all day and every day. And that's why I could podcast for 13 hours a
week. We've detected that.
Louis, speaking of narcissists, something that really fascinated me was you guys did a roundtable, and it was you and Shane Gillis and the douchebag Martin Shkreli. And Martin kind of came after Shane a little bit. And I thought that you and Jay did a good job of keeping sort of the comedy going. But Shane seemed like he wanted to challenge Martin back. And I just watched it on YouTube, so I don't know what it was like being in that room. What was it like for you?
It's all in good fun. We don't bring anybody onto the podcast to make them look dumb or to try to like we bring them on, even if they're a horrible person, we do try to give them the opportunity to present themselves in the best light. So Shkreli, he plays the villain. He likes being the villain. He does that online. He did it so much that he went to jail. And, so Shane wasn't having any of it. Shane's obviously just always keeps it real and so hilarious. What a brilliant comic. And, Shane also in a very funny way trashed him. It did get a little heated between them. But, the reality was it felt like a little bit of a show there, and they were both sort of putting on holding their ground. Shkreli, he was cool. He was cool enough. He wasn't, he actually held his own with a bunch of professional comedians that have been doing this for a really long time. So I gotta give him a little bit of credit for that.
We a long time ago, the notion of bringing on someone that we were just going to assassinate on air, we disabused ourselves of that idea, because if we think someone's a scumbag, why are we wasting our time with bringing them on, right? So
Right, exactly.
it's better to get an interview with someone you may not see eye to eye on or with, and engage that way. You're going to get better content, because the low-hanging fruit thing never works.
Yeah, well, he's got an interesting story, interesting guy, and at the end of the day, I just don't really care about the world that much. I'm not a political guy. I'm not to each his own. If you're a right winger, left winger, in the middle, I don't really care. I don't judge people based off of sort of their political beliefs or anything like that. I'm friends with every comic. I don't care what their background is and sort of where they came from. Or if you can sit down and just have a beer and talk some crap and smoke a joint with us, we're probably willing to have that conversation with you. When people try to shoehorn it in, then it gets annoying, and then our audience kind of eviscerates them, because our audience can always smell the grifters,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let me ask you, and we talk about sort of the way everything old is new again. I keep bringing this topic up because you have so many podcasts, you have all of this going on, but we're talking about the world of influencers and how, I've drawn the analogy that when Uncle Milty was on and there were only 5 or 6 other shows or whatever 3 shows. It was easy. He was not saying he wasn't a legend, didn't deserve his legend. But now there's such a glut of stuff that really the same determining factors are as important as ever. Are you talented? Can you engage? Are you a conversationalist? Are you seeing, I guess, the gold rush days passing by, and we're getting more of a correction towards the people who can really do this?
Yeah, I think, podcasting for the most part, obviously it is still very popular. But I think the format of sort of everyone was doing their own version of radio, right? Where a few guys are talking on microphone and talking about the same exact subjects that everybody else was talking about. I think those days are sort of passing us by, right? We started this podcast, Story Wars, which is a game show. Me and Big J host it, and it's really funny. It's getting very, very popular. And it's a format, and it's a little different than 3 or 4 guys talking about the same exact subject that everybody else is. You're playing a game, we submit stories, we're busting balls. It is a much different show than truly anything else that's out there, and I think that's going to be the future of sort of podcasting as I know it. I mean, Kill Tony is a massive show. There's a show, Are You Garbage? Those guys are from out in Philly originally.
Yeah, they're great
as well. Great, hilarious guys. But these formatted type shows, I think, are gaining a little bit more traction. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. So more of a unique spin on what everyone's doing, because it was, 100,000 shows that were doing the exact same thing. And I'm sure in radio, you guys know there how many morning shows that you're like, they're just like the other ones,
Yeah.
The great ones obviously stand out and the cream rises to the top. But it becomes oversaturated. And I think, once again, the cream just rises to the top. The great ones will stand out, and the people that are creative and unique will sort of get pushed to the forefront.
Yeah, agreed.
It was fun, Louis, because we a little while back we had heard it was a podcast that was promoting, hey, we're going to have this thing where we're going to be live and available to talk to you live while this is actually happening and take your phone calls. And we're like, oh, you mean radio? Something we've been doing for 27 years over here. Listen, to go back for a second, though, you mentioned your son and wanting to be able to spend some more time with him this summer. How old is he, first of all?
He's 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
That's a good time.
Great age. So that he's got the full summer off. You going to plan anything special to do to spend time?
Yeah, we always travel somewhere. Usually him and I just do a father-son trip every year.
Love
that's
that.
great.
We always pick a new place, just me and him to go. This year we're doing the whole family, though. I we didn't do a family vacation this winter, so I'm bringing my aunt who's 87 years old to Italy. I brought my son to Italy like 3 years ago, just me and him. We went to Rome and Cinque Terre, and
damn, you
had
do
an
big
amazing
trips.
time.
Yeah.
I like traveling. I waste all of my money on traveling.
That's not a waste.
That's not a waste.
That's not a waste.
Traveling and good food. Well, it's memories. You know, you create memories with your family. You know, they'll never go away. He'll have them forever. Sure, he's not going to be able to go to college, but that's okay. He's got memories of Las Vegas with his father. Tell her.
He's getting. You're getting. My father, he passed away just to turn 95, and he'd recorded a whole bunch of audio about his life. No, it's okay, but and the thing that he stressed, Lewis, and so he said, above all else, if you can travel, he loved it, and that fed his soul. And I have to make up ground for that. So I think taking your kid to Italy and all that stuff, that's great. Now the question is, do you travel well?
I'm great. I'm really great at traveling. In the beginning, I wasn't. In the beginning, it was me running late and me, freaking out on TSA, and the amount of times that I've almost been not allowed to enter an airplane. And then at one point, you just get caught. You're like, your pants are down. You're like, I can do nothing. All I can do is just take it on the chin from this TSA employee and have them talk down to me because you have to get where you're going. But I've gotten pretty good. Once you do it enough, it's just like tying your shoes. You don't think about tying your shoes. So now I don't think about taking off my shoes or my belt or going through the scanners so I'm pretty good at, packing. I pack usually, this is how crazy I am. I order the Uber and then I start packing.
Oh my God.
No.
I couldn't.
There was so I like to be exactly on time for things. I was 2 minutes late to this interview, but that's why, because I tried to be exactly at 8:20. I try to just click the button when it goes in, and if anything goes wrong, now it's messed up, and now I'm freaking out. Now I'm yelling at a cab driver. Now I'm freaking out at somebody in the street that I bumped into. So it's a lot of my own ADHD that kind of causes this chaotic energy that I have.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. My buddy Zach D'Amico, who I do the Lewis and Zach show.
Right.
He described it as he's like, Lewis likes to do things like he was starting a comedy special. You remember the old comedy specials would start where the guy would like leave the building, get into the car, walk out of the car, and then go in. It's like, welcome, Louis C.K.
Yes.
And then he walks right on stage. That's how I live my life every single day.
It's no way to live.
Yeah, but I mean,
or at least it actually gives you a lot of anxiety.
Yeah. But when you're packing for a vacation or something along those lines, I like to be a little bit ahead of time. I like to, have everything perfect, like just waiting for me. So when I roll out of bed, all my stuff is right there. Now, Lewis, I just did a trip a couple of weeks ago where, when I pack my underwear as if I'm going to crap myself twice a day every single day. And for the first time ever, I packed the perfect amount of underwear. The underwear that I put on the day I was leaving to come home.
It's a morning show. This is getting sexy now.
I know. But I was so amazed and so impressed that because it was an extended trip. It was like a 10-day trip, and I packed the perfect amount of underwear, which I've never done before.
Do you set personal packing goals like that as well, Lewis, to make sure in case you crap yourself twice a day?
Well, I work out a lot when I'm on the road.
Yeah.
So I always have to pack like double of everything. And then I'm walking around with a wet, smelly bag inside of my bag. It's horrible. You don't listen to me. Guys, you don't want to travel.
You don't want to travel with you.
Do you do laundry on the road, or do you just
sometimes?
Yeah.
If it's a long enough of a trip, there's got to be like an Uber for laundry, right? I have no idea.
Yes.
Kicks in. I don't know. There probably is 10 services like this, but I've never been able to muster the energy to use my thumbs for 10 seconds and find one. I always instead freak out and spend $100 on laundry at the hotel, or sometimes if you're staying at a crappy enough Hampton Inn style place, they'll have washers and dryers in the hallway that you can
Dude,
use.
it's crazy. If you get this hotel to do laundry sometimes, I forget what hotel I was at. It's maybe Preston when we were in Chicago for the Radio Hall of Fame. But I had something cleaned, and I'm like, for Christ's sake, I could have bought a small car for this. It was ridiculous.
It's like $120 to get 4 pieces of laundry.
Yeah, it was an eye opener.
Lewis, speaking of travel, when you do Philly shows, how do you get back and forth? Do you do train?
No, I drive.
Okay.
I drive, and I am a bad driver, just so you know.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's not good. I moved from New York City to New Jersey in 2020. Right during the pandemic, and I bought a car. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy an Audi. I'm Puerto Rican, and I had to get an Audi. I spent $75,000 on a car that I crashed 5 times. I totaled it just before Christmas.
Oh, man.
My insurance was $1,700 per month.
Jesus.
And then how much do you pay for parking that thing in New York?
Oh, in New York, it's crazy. I mean, I probably $50-$60 a day. That's not even using a garage. That's driving around the block trying to find a spot.
Wow. It's just gas. Yeah.
Maybe you should try the train.
I can get a personal driver for this.
Wow, man. All right, well, listen, Lewis, we're just going to hit this again that you're going to be at Punchline tonight and tomorrow. There are 2 shows each night, 7 and 9:15. You can get tickets through punchlinephilly.com. So we're going to urge people to go to the shows this weekend and just get into it and have a good time. So we hope you have a great... Oh, wait, Case, you want to ask him one more question?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to go back. We can either do this now or just encourage him to watch the Megan 2.0 trailer to see
We can
if that
send
is-
that over
I'll watch
to
it
you.
now. Yeah, if you want to throw it on real quick.
All right, we're
I'd love
split
to see
screening it. We got to
I'll
get to
tell
the
you.
bottom of this.
All right, here we go. We're watching this now. There's the robot, and then Casey thinks that guy is Dan Soder. I don't think that's
I don't
him.
think it is.
so either.
What do you
Let's
think?
see.
Can you see it?
I don't see it.
You don't see it? That's
All right.
that's Dan Soder. I'm sorry, guys. That is absolutely
Don't you
positively
think
Dan Soder.
Soder would have a legit credit in the movie credits, and he does not because he's
I mean,
working.
now I see it. And I mean, not only is that not Dan Soder, that looks nothing like Dan Soder.
Case?
The woman looks more like Dan Soder.
And I think he would have told you guys about it if you were in this movie.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, not even close. What are we talking about here? It looks more like Steve.
He's right. He's right.
All right. Well, thank you for the verification. All right, man. Have a great time in Philly. It's good to talk to you, Lewis.
Thank you, guys. Great times.
You got
Have a
it.
great day.
Louis J. Gomez. And you can see him at Punchline this weekend. Like I said, punchlinephilly.com. All right. I know we have an in-studio guest, a big one coming up, like figuratively and physically. But real quick, Kathy had this follow-up that she wanted to do. Just the other day, we were reporting on a street in Montgomery County that they have painted the lines really, really curvy to encourage people to slow down. And we had a couple of listeners that Zoomed and actually drove down the road while we had them live on the air. So we discussed that and we went back and forth about roads and so on. And then Kathy, last night we were chatting, said, I have a follow-up on this.
Yeah, I just want to give you guys an update.
All
So,
right.
when something like that happens, there's an engineer that works on that project and, is assigned to that project to get that completed, that roadway. The engineer is my cousin.
What? Shut up.
She goes, I specifically did not text you during that conversation. She said, because I did not want you to say. She goes, we got so much, they got a lot of crap for it. But what she said was, it wasn't finished. So the pictures and the people driving down and the news out there and everybody commenting, it wasn't finished. It's not just the lines. There's going to be, I forget what they're called, but like the poles with the reflectors on them you see sometimes outside of schools.
Oh, I hate those friggin' things.
They have them all at the corners through in Conshohocken. I see them all the time.
Yeah.
Those are being added. So the police, if you see in these videos, the police put the cones out to kind of replicate it until they can finish the project. But it wasn't quite finished when everybody jumped on
Kathy,
it.
this is what we were talking about on Lincoln Drive.
Yes,
They have so many of these that people drive down the road and they suddenly think they're in some sort of video game.
Yeah, so you will have no choice but to drive along the curb.
And, Kathy, what's the name of the road again? I think it was when I was out on Tuesday.
Acid Trip Avenue.
No, something with a G.
Was it Gray's Lane?
Yeah, Gray's Lane, I think, might have been it. Yeah.
She said she had been getting like a bunch of phone calls and stuff when all of this went out. And she said, she got into her car, turned the radio on. She's like, oh, and now they're talking about it.
Wow. All right, another instance where Kathy Romano has her finger on the pulse of this area, folks. So, all right, well, that's really interesting, Kathy. We'll see how much people appreciate it or not when they put those up. As we are taking a break, Casey gave me some stuff to give away. The band Living Color is going to be playing the Keswick Theater on Wednesday, May 14th. Tickets go on sale today in about an hour or so at 10 a.m. But we have some to give away right now. And all you have to do is text the word color, and you can spell it either way because the band spells it C-O-L-O-U-R. But you can also spell it C-O-L-O-R. Text that to 610-660-9333, And we've got 4 pairs of tickets to give away.
Nice.
So we might set you up with that. So do that right about now if you're interested. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back in a moment. Will Ospreay is going to be here from AEW Dynasty. We'll get the details about the event and the stories from him when we return. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Squad car and on the intercom going, I love you. Say it back to me now. Say I love you.
And you know what? He wouldn't have done that if his son just would have shown him a little bit of affection in the car, in the privacy, just between those two. And so he had to teach him a lesson.
There's a great Modern Family segment where the mom is with the daughter, and she's breaking away to get with her friend. She just wants to dump the mother as quickly as she can. And so the mother's like, I don't believe this. And she goes, don't forget we're getting a training bra for you later.
Here's a text that says, I used to practice law in Bucks County, and a DA's mom would come to watch his criminal trials.
Oh,
We're
boy.
talking about a man in his 40s here.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's
mom would show up. Marissa?
Preston, I just want you to tell Gloria that my mom has picked up for where your mom is.
No kidding.
man.
She will do that.
And I'm not even on the radio. I'm behind the scenes of your show.
Well, Marissa, we got a text. It says Marissa's mom did that to me at the thrift shop she volunteered at. It was sweet.
That's great.
She just has that look and she goes, do you listen to the radio?
Oh,
yeah.
My daughter works with Preston Elliott.
But I will let you know that every mailman, every barista, every person who shopped at the hamper shop, it's no longer open. They listen to this show. So
Now,
thank you all.
Hey, I wouldn't mind as long as I'm not around. If they want to, if my mom wants to do that and set herself out there, that's fine. But when I'm sitting right next to her, it's just like,
I'm sorry, I don't listen to that low-grade entertainment.
you guys should embrace it.
Barbaric, imbecilic show.
I'm an NPR person. You know, they might throw that at
All
you.
things considered.
Yes.
You have to embrace your parents doing that. Remember when my mom said to me one time, like, do you think you'll look for other jobs? I was like, I don't think so.
So what, this long into the career, so what is your fallback plan? No, I'm all in on this right now.
No, but I will sometimes she's like, so do you you still like them? Do you guys all still get along? I'm like, it's been 20 years, Mom. I think we're good.
Let me go to.
It seems volatile.
Let me go to Susan. Hi, Susan. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you guys?
Great, Susan. What's up?
So my mom taught at the high school where I went, but before that she was a sub, and I remember being in 8th grade and walking in, and she was my sub, and at the very start of class, she's like, does anybody know my name? And everyone's quiet, and I'm just, mortified. And she's like, how about you, little girl? Do you know my name? I'm like, yes, it's Mom, but you guys should call her Mrs. Freeland.
Susan, we had a similar situation. I remember years ago clearly, but it wasn't like the sub was in for a day or two. She was our teacher was sick or giving birth or something, so she had her mother teaching us the class for about a month and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, God, no, mine was only a day.
My goodness.
It was so awkward.
All right, thank you, Susan. I appreciate it.
The principal of my high school, his son was at the school at the time. He was my year. I graduated with the principal's son. So I don't know what it was. He was a good kid, so I guess it was okay, but I don't know if there was ever an embarrassment.
My
I'm
sister.
sure something had to happen.
Yeah, no, my sister is a principal or the vice principal and teacher at her high school. Her daughter goes there. Her son's going to go there next year. I don't know if that was ever an issue, but she did have my niece in her class, but they have different last names. So.
Casey, weren't you starting to do an embarrassment campaign on your kids for a little while?
Wait, campaign? What do you mean by that?
Like you were going to regularly show up in a bathrobe or something to pick them up?
I think maybe I threatened that. There was a point where my oldest was starting to get embarrassed by me. She's past that now.
Right.
And
When
now
that
she's
happens,
proud of me and stuff.
If I may jump in just quickly.
Yeah.
When that happens, that really has to be a sucker punch to any parent, right?
Because listen, I used to. 10 years ago, my oldest was in kindergarten, and I was a lunch dad. So the great thing about our job is that we get done the show early enough that I was actually able to go be a cafeteria dad.
Right.
And for a little while there, they were excited that I would go there. They loved it. It was the coolest thing. And also I got to meet the other classmates and all that. And then after a while, it was
dwindled.
Yeah, but so I would do this thing at basketball games And listen, this is a great dad joke, so if anybody out there wants to use this is awesome. But when my daughters would do an inbound pass, okay, so this is just the easiest pass in basketball whatsoever, right? The referee hands them the ball, then they pass it to, I would yell at the top of my lungs, great pass! Right? Great pass, Casey! And it was funny. Everybody laughed, and it was just ridiculous. And then they would just go, oh, my God, I can't believe this fucking guy.
Yeah.
So dumb.
But when you've just been being a parent becomes embarrassing to your kids, not doing something that's kind of obnoxious.
Right.
Yeah, dude, it hurts.
Yeah,
it sucks.
especially I think like a daddy-daughter thing. You know.
Yeah.
Well, then you move on to what, like, purposely embarrassing them.
Yes.
That my dad came onto the school bus, remember, in his robe and purposely messed up his hair because I forgot my lunch. He also picked me up from a party early because if I were to ever go to a party in high school, my parents would call the house that I was going to. And if somebody didn't answer the phone, she was like, I'm coming to get you. Like, you need to know. So, and
coming now.
So we didn't pick up the phone. And my dad showed up with it was my best friend's dad and my dad. And they dressed up in my little brother Christopher's like dress up. They had like helmets on and swords and like armor.
I love him.
And they came into the party and picked us up like that.
That's great.
This was high school, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hard to come back from that.
That's good.
There's a whole other level of embarrassing your children because you have also, I was yelling the nice pass at basketball games, but like yelling at referees and stuff like that at games. And
Yelling
stuff
the
like
C word?
Not that.
Well, that's an unintentional. I mean, that's your parent getting out of control.
That's bad news bears. That's psycho parent thing. This is just, you're not doing anything. I mean, you're playfully fun. It's like that transition you were talking about. Dad's here at school.
Yeah.
Oh no, Dad's here. That's that's a level of embarrassment, like Kathy's parents doing cosplay. That it's hard to get past.
Yeah, because I had seen that type of thing a couple times. I don't really want to dwell on that. But I'd seen, parents, embarrass their kids by doing something that was just mean or
I told you
out of line.
My dad's attire in the winter quite often would be an overcoat with that went down like below his knees.
Please tell me he had those little sock suspenders on too, because that really pushes it to another level.
But and then boots. It looked like he was a flasher. It looked exactly like that. And he would show up at school. I remember we were waiting to go on a weekend field trip to go see a movie. And we're waiting there, and I forgot something or money. Both my brother and I, to get popcorn or whatever. And he's coming up, and everyone's like looking at, oh my God, there's a flasher coming to the school, and I'm like, oh no!
All right, we got some good calls coming in. I'm going to Luke. Hi, Luke. You are on the air. Good morning, Luke. Are you there?
Hey, yo. Sorry.
Yo, what's up, Luke?
So I'm very man pretty, and when I was 18 years old, I became a model for Abercrombie.
Oh, you'd be one of those dudes who was like shirtless?
Yeah, but when I say model, I just mean like I stood outside of the mall in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
But my mom told everybody he's an Abercrombie model.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Abercrombie model. Like, so she would walk through the mall and be like, "That's my son. That's my son."
That's great. I love it.
It is wonderful to have that pride and have your parents have that exist. But I mean, I can see where that'd be embarrassing.
Oh my God!
The Abercrombie
Luke,
model.
did you tell her?
She doesn't bring that up at all.
Did you tell her to stop doing it? Did you ever tell her to stop doing it, Luke?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, she didn't.
Can you just go to Cinnabon and leave me alone?
That's
right. All right, thanks, Luke. Appreciate it.
So my daughter and Chuck D'Amico, who works here, his daughter, they both worked at a little coffee shop down the shore this summer, and Chuck's wife would go into that coffee shop and embarrass her daughter all the time. Like
how?
It doesn't for a 16-year-old.
Yeah,
it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much. Just if you announce that's my baby girl back there.
Right. Oh, no.
It doesn't take much.
I'm going to go to Melanie. Hey, Melanie, good morning.
Hey, bitches.
Hey, what? What's up, Melanie?
Hi. So my mom is a local singer-songwriter. And I just want to give her kudos that today I'm so proud of her and I'm so appreciative when she does this, but I wasn't always this way.
All right.
Growing up at some of her shows, she would intentionally pick out songs that were, you know, songs that she'd written for my sisters and I, but she specifically had written me a lullaby that was no mistaken. It was a lullaby. And she would sing it in front of crowds at World Cafe, the Bluebird in Tennessee, like some pretty, you know, known places.
Would she point? Would she point you out in the audience?
Say that again?
Would she point you out in the audience, or was it just?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. She would call me out if there could have been a spotlight. I'm sure she would have put it on. But she would make sure to tell every single person, especially at the end of the night as we left, that this was my daughter. This is the one I sang about.
Is this someone we would know? What's her name, if you don't mind giving it?
Yeah, not at all. Her name is Lizanne Knott. I believe her website is lizanneknott.com, and she is phenomenal. I think she is the best singer in the world. I'm so proud of her.
But at a certain age, you were like, oh, cut it out, Mom.
Oh, it was the worst. Especially it would come up on XPN on the radio sometimes, and, you know, every one of my friends knew about it, so I get phone calls and text messages. Oh, we just heard your mom on the radio. We just heard your lullaby.
Oh, that's funny.
Nice. With you,
All right, thanks, Melanie.
Are you and Casey and Nick and are your kids embarrassed when they hear you on the radio or
There's
see people
certain
make a
things-
fuss about what?
We're not allowed to talk about certain stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
you kind of respect their privacy to a certain level, but also, I don't know about you, Casey, with your daughter, Casey, but like at 15, my son's friends just don't care. You know,
Yeah.
I think that like they did
Keep it that
earlier.
way.
Well, yeah, like in high school. To them, it doesn't really matter what their parents do. You know, I think that they'll reflect on it later in life, but right now it doesn't seem to impact them one way or the other.
My son has a few friends that listen to the show that have been listening to the show for a while.
Friends do.
Yeah.
Oh, because I get friends' parents listen to the show, or teachers listen
as
to
a
the
result of them being in the car with their parents.
I see.
They have, and so I was at his school a couple of weekends ago, and the kid because we were there for a play, and the kid that I was getting the tickets from, he's like, "Oh, I listen to you guys all the time."
Nice.
And I was like, "Well, that's pretty cool," you know. And my daughter,
That sex harness bit was hilarious.
yeah. And then my daughter's friends are now, and so that's why I think my daughter has sort of come around on it. Is that she has friends that are like, "Hey, that's pretty cool what your dad does," not like, "Oh, you know."
Yeah.
It's also interesting, though. I'm sorry, Kath, because our kids know you guys. You know, so my son has been his entire life. I've been on the
Growing
Preston and
up,
Steve show.
yeah.
You know, so like this is all he knows.
Yeah,
what his dad
I guess that's
is
true.
doing. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess sweet. You guys have a much different situation than I do. I get mocked. I told this story before. We were at Target and someone was like, "Oh my God, are you Kathy Romano? I listen to the show every day. I love you guys. Oh, thank you so much." Second she walked away, Jace looked at me and went, "Oh my God, you can't."
Really?
But you're not getting anything.
Kathy, one time, I think I told this story before, but we went out and we were at an outdoor restaurant. I ordered dessert, and somebody came up behind me and they said, "Hey, we listen to the show. It's so nice to meet you." And I said I was chatting with them for a little bit. Ben used that opportunity to eat my entire dessert.
From 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thanks, Kat. So All Elite Wrestling has their AEW Dynasty coming up on Sunday. It will be at the Leah Chorus Center and available on pay-per-view, by the way. And we are excited to have one of the stars of the show here in our studio. Gang, Will Ospreay is here.
Yes, lads. Thank you so much for having us.
The aerial assassin. It's good to see you, man.
God bless you, sir. Thank you very much for having me. This is crazy. I've never been in these type of facilities before, especially over in America. This is crazy.
Really? Oh, well, welcome, man. We appreciate it. Where in England are you from, by the way?
I'm from Essex. So I'm just outside of London, about 45 minutes away. So I can easily get in, I can easily get out, and I can avoid the traffic. So that's the main thing.
The main thing is avoiding traffic.
Yeah, man. No one wants to be in traffic, especially English traffic. We're all mad all the time. Got no time for joy in England.
Oh man, we were in London a few years ago. We went out there to do our show.
I'm so sorry.
I know. Well, listen,
We had a great time
The ride
there.
from the airport.
was freaking scary, man.
And by the way, so we're running down the clock. We left the airport and we're going right on air. We're going from the airport to the show.
Yep.
And we're looking at the clock like we're never going to friggin' make this.
We got dropped off. Remember, we had to like run across the street. We flew all night and didn't, slept as much as we could on the plane, and then got there and had to do the show as soon as we got there. And we were like, we're not going to make it with this traffic.
That sounded like my day on Wednesday. Like I landed in Chicago. I got my boy to meet me there. Drove like 2 hours to is it Peoria?
Peoria.
Yeah.
Like once again, learning all the names of America. Yeah, and like it was crazy, man. So I got there and it was just like, you're wrestling. I was like, all right, get me gear on, let's go.
Well, I'm going to bring it up right now because you have the most. I was watching a couple of interviews with you and reading about you. Your amount of air hours is insane, and I jotted down some stuff. January and February, 136 hours in the air.
Do you want to see the new one?
Yeah, please. So, I mean, this is crazy.
So, yeah, I still live in the UK. I travel every single week. So, this is April now. I haven't put in the one traveling over here. So, total time in the air this year is 211 hours and 53 minutes.
Oh
this year?
This year.
Just a couple months?
It's just turned April.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't plan on moving here, guys. I apologize. I've got a great life over in England.
You love your home.
I love England. I love my missus, love my little boy. Like, I just don't want to uproot them. I love it over here.
No, it's very commendable. But you come here for all fan things. You're very fan accessible.
Yeah.
And you love this. But I have to ask you, so when you're traveling that much, you have to own compression socks and stuff.
Of course,
like that.
yeah,
Right,
mate.
right.
I take care of my body the best I can. I take aspirin just to thin my blood to allow everything to go through. I got my compression socks. I lay down most of the time. I wake up every few hours just to do some stretching. I look like a psycho sometimes, mate. I'm in the aisle. I'm like doing my deep sumo squats, bruv.
Because you have to. People have died from like deep vein thrombosis.
Yeah, man. That was a big fear for me. So that's the one thing I do my best. Like I go get my blood looked at all the time just to ensure my health and safety, man, because I want to do this for a long time.
That you're really squatting in the aisle of the plane?
Yeah. A couple of the biddies as well, right? Because I travel business class. I don't think you guys know, right? But like, they look at me and they go like, what is he doing here? Because I travel comfy, bro.
Yeah.
I've got my Zubas on, mate. Like, I'm walking up and down the aisle. They go, what is he doing back here? Send him back there with the commoners, they say, but I'm here.
No, you have to. People don't realize a long-term travel. My dad traveled for many years, traveling back and forth to Dallas every week from New York, and he picked up all those tricks. I mean, you have to. It's and your body is your machine. It's what it's what you're doing. You can't take any compromises with that.
No, especially with the style that I wrestle with in AEW. Like, I am very explosive. I go for it all the time, so I do my best to look after my body all the time.
So I was reading that you're known for your aerial, your high flying stuff. You like to get up in the air and boom, man, land. When you were a kid, were you the guy that was jumping off the roof of the house and stuff like that?
So, yes, I was. So I got a funny story in school. My mum would always get phone calls all the time. So like my auntie would get calls. Oh, Imogen, she's doing so well at school. Brogan wants to be a veterinarian. Like they get all that. My head teacher would call up and go, Bill's just done a backflip off a goalpost. Adrenaline junkie, man. I love it. I love it.
Are you a parkour guy?
Yeah, I used to love parkour. Like that's the main reason why I love Assassin's Creed, because it had that connection to the parkour route. Me and my friends would go up London and we would climb up scaffoldings that we weren't meant to be on and like try and just jump off and stuff. You're
a gamer? You play Assassin's Creed?
Love it, man. We've got like a little a sponsorship deal with them. So like the new Shadows game just came out. And we done like a huge entrance over in Wembley Stadium, man. It was insane.
When that game first broke, oh wow, man, we're looking at a picture of it. When the series first started, I was like, this was tremendous. I mean, because if you've ever played the Spider-Man game as well,
mate, great game. Great game.
Same thing. You could to climb up a building and jump off is pretty wild. So, that's cool.
Well, so I don't know if Kingsman, Taron Egerton's character is from Essex or not. But when is he
Kingsman?
The movie. The
movie. Oh, okay, yeah.
So we're picking up a little bit on his accent.
A little bit of that, but also like when you were talking about parkour, I was just thinking that the scene where he's coming out of his flat and then
and he's running up. Yeah, brother, that's sick. That's sick, man.
That's wild. And it was I'm sorry.
But there's so many places like that in England, like council estates and stuff like that, where you could just climb over and just jump off stuff.
It seems, Will, to me that you were born to do this. Like
Yeah.
there are some wrestlers that evolve into their roles. You've been doing this since you were a kid, haven't you?
I don't know if I was born to do anything, but just to put smiles on people's faces.
Yeah.
Man. Like I love what I do. I think wrestling is such a crazy little art form where just anything and everything can happen. I mean, like, look, man, AEW, someone burnt someone's house down to the ground, and it was just like one of these crazy things where I was just like, man, this is such a wild place to be. And here's me, I'm just jumping off of stuff and just enjoying life. I'm living in a dream, mate.
A year, right, with AEW?
This is my first year, yeah.
So the word back, I mean, I was reading some of the fan comments. I mean, they love you.
I love them.
And you talk about how, I mean, honestly, it's something that we tried. We've been, 27 years, doing the show. You build up trust with your audience. Like your audience knows that you're going to be the guy jumping off whatever to give them the best experience. And has that always been your mindset from the beginning?
I just want the fans to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I treat wrestling like a little bit of a concert, and if they're not making noise and if they're not invested, then they're not my instruments. I'm a cappella then in that case, and I can't sing, bruv. So for me, I want the audience to have a good time, and I am a stunt performer. I'm a live action Marvel movie, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the presentation that I give, and it's just the stuff that I learned over in Japan, and I've just brought it over here.
While we were off air, Will first asked, he's like, is there any backyard wrestling going on around here? Because I'll go do it.
Bruv, no, I won't go do it. I'll go watch it. My backyard days are long behind me, man. But I love backyard wrestling. I used to grow up around it. There's a couple of American backyard wrestlers that I used to go with. There's a lad called Scott Henson that he's recently just passed away. God bless him. But we used to communicate with all the other backyard wrestlers. There was a company over in New York, I think, called 2KW that I used to love backyard wrestling, man. I support it thoroughly.
It was huge. It was huge here, and I believe it is still. When occasionally we have a lot of wrestlers come through, and that community still exists. But I remember, and I was saying, it was my understanding that southern part of Jersey, here in this general area, is where you'd find a lot of it. You'd mentioned Japan, and you was about 10 years. How many years in Japan wrestling?
I'd done 8 years in Japan.
8 years in Japan. Wow. So that's a bucket list destination for me.
Do it. Just for the food. Just for the food, man. The food is next level, but the culture is just, it raised me, man. As a 22-year-old kid, I went over to Japan. Didn't know anything about myself. Still learning. I found out that I had ADHD while I was in Japan, which is not the best place to find out. It's not the best, but they were patient with me, man. I was a young, immature man, and I needed to do a lot of growing up, and they allowed me to grow up in a place where it was so understanding,
and they're disciplined. They're disciplined, right?
Super disciplined,
the one place I've heard of, well, not the one, but of the couple of places that you go to where they say the language can be formidable, and finding your way around, Japan is always mentioned as one of them. Did you find that? How long before you felt like you were a little bit autonomous?
It took 3 years for me to fully understand. I can hold a basic conversation, but in terms of I can order food. I can say do you know where the toilet is? But a lot of the time it would be just learning on the job.
In your opinion, are wrestling fans the same around the world, or
Absolutely not. Japan is so different to America. It's England, a wrestling crowd it's a night out. It's everyone wants to get drunk and have a good time. I mean, I'm not saying that America's the same thing as well. Everyone likes to get drunk, but they're more passionate, and they want to see especially AEW audience. They want to see the technique, and they want to be impressed with the athleticism over here. Japan, a lot of the time they're silent, but just because they're silent doesn't mean they're not paying attention.
Right.
They are paying attention to such minor details that you portray, and that was something that I had to learn because I came from the night out. I came from everyone singing songs and and then all of a sudden they're just watching and they're analysing every single little bit that you do, and it was such a crazy experience to be a part of. I became the adopted son over there, man.
That's so
miss
cool.
it.
I got to get over. So, did you embrace sumo while you were there?
No, I never. I'd done a Ryogoku, which was sumo arena. We'd done that building so many times, but I never went to go see an actual sumo event. But when we would go to the gyms, the sumo wrestlers would come into the gyms and they'd be wearing the New Japan Pro Wrestling tracksuit. So I was just kind of yo, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And to see those big boys doing pull-ups, it was crazy.
Those
man.
guys do pull-ups?
Yeah, mate, you would not believe it. But
Wow.
these ginormous men doing pull-ups, it was unreal to say the least.
That's pretty good. Do you get to go back at all? I mean, you can't with this schedule.
No. I could if I wanted to, but right now I'm so dedicated to AEW right now, and I can feel the momentum shifting back to our way. And I want to be front and center. I want to be at the forefront of it. I want to strap it onto my back and run as far as I can. Give me the ball, fam.
So what do you think distinguishes AEW, from other wrestling, companies?
Because I feel like a lot of the time that the other places are more drafted towards like the characters, and that's how they do their storytelling is by like using this microphone. And not to say that we don't, but we are very much sports based. I would always say, like, you wouldn't watch like Premier League football or soccer to you guys.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like the show is like 90% of them talking and then finally they kick a ball. We are 90% wrestling and 10% less talk.
It's funny you'd say this because years ago when we first started the show, I did a parody of wrestling at that time, which I felt was tons of talk. And it's great. And if you have the personality, a larger life, that's great. But it was, and then very little wrestling. So it was just a lot of smack talking. Again, the pageantry and stuff is cool. You're saying what you guys deliver is the nuts and bolts. You're going to get the physicality.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that separates us a lot of the time, because we actually put the main presentation on wrestling. And I think that's not done that much. It is so like alien to people where they just go like, what do you mean you just wrestle? And it's just like, it's in the name, bruv. It's all elite wrestling. You don't come in here with like all basic wrestling. It's all elite wrestling.
Right,
You've got to be the top of the game.
By the way, who's loving him saying bruv? That's right. We're Ted Lasso fans. Yeah.
I get passionate. It like slips out.
I love it. I love it.
Mate.
I love the variations on the English accent. I'm kind of fascinated by whether, like a Manchester accent or a Liverpudlian accent.
Don't talk about the Northerners.
Don't talk about the Northerners?
We don't like the Northerners up there, no. North versus South. We got you, lads. We got you. But we might need Birmingham. We might need them. Maybe. If we could talk them into coming over to us, we might have a chance.
You'd be good, yeah.
When you started off in I assume you went to London to begin. I mean, like it was the nearest metropolitan area.
Yeah, I was a part of a school called the London School of Lucha Libre. So I studied like Mexican wrestling first. Wow. So then that was, they brought the Mexican Lucha Libre style over to this place called the Resistance Gallery in Bethnal Green. My trainers were Greg Burridge and Gary Vanderhorn. We would have so many luchadors come over, so I would learn that style. Then I would learn the catch as catch can. And then I went over to Japan, and then they threw me into deep water and they beat the ever-loving out of me.
Really? So you're a combination of all that.
Yeah, I think that's the way that I've managed to like survive in these waters, because like I've just been able to just go left, right, and center and learn all the different styles.
What did you say? Catchers catch can?
Catchers catch can.
What is that?
It's just like kind of like the chain wrestling, the idea of like this. The techniques of the wrist controls and like the ground style of pro wrestling.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite part of it?
I do love the Japanese strong style, I must say. There is something about when two men are standing in a ring and they're just giving each other their best shot. Yeah. Like a lot of the times you would just stand there opposite your opponent and you would just grit your teeth, look them in the eye, and they would just give their best shot, and you would receipt them back. And it was just about, can you hold your footing? Can you absorb the strike? And a lot of the time it would be like 1, 2, 1, 2. And then one time you'd give them one and their feet would go underneath them and you would see like, oh, I've got you now, lad. Like, you know what I mean? And to take fans on that ride of just like, because they're so invested, you would be like in Osaka, there'd be like 5,000 people on top of you and they'd just be looking at your footwork. It'd be crazy.
Hey, I have a question about your personal life. Growing up, siblings? You have brothers or sisters?
No brothers, no sisters. My mum wanted some, but she had a series of miscarriages, unfortunately. And
okay.
It's like,
well, then,
but like, my mum got the best. Do you know what I mean? My mum got me.
Yeah, the best. Yeah. Yes. So what did mom think about her one and only child going on to the world of professional wrestling initially? What did she think about it?
She hated it.
Yeah.
She, like, because it's a pipe dream, isn't it? It's just kind of, especially like England. Like all the pro wrestlers that came out of England, we got Dynamite Kid, William Regal, British Bulldog, right? And like, so think about that. 3 wrestlers off the top of my head that I can name. Not many succeeded. Not many were like the big star-studded names. So like, how could you ever like think your son wants to be a professional wrestler? And it's just like, I can imagine her feeling like she failed a little bit as a
Did she
parent.
try to talk you out of it?
No, so
Okay.
my mum was always like, go pursue it, but just have a backup plan. So I was a mastic man, which was kind of like the windows. You know, your windows, you got all like the rubber seals around it.
Yeah.
That was my job, and I worked for my uncle. So like I would do that, and then on the weekends I would go wrestle.
Oh, wow.
When you were in Japan for 8 years, did your mom get to come over and see you?
On the my last Tokyo Dome, I was able to fly her out because I signed with AEW. Like when I was over in Japan, I was making great money. I really was, but like nowhere near enough to be able to like bring people along the ride with me. Like I would never be able to do it.
That must have been tough being away from her for 8 years.
Oh yeah, man, it was horrible. I lived in Japan for 2 of those 8 years as well, so that was a hard one. But she understood that this is something that I've dreamed about as a kid. Like I had this thing when I was 14 years old. I was getting in trouble a lot in England. Like I was a menace to society. I was like, and so my mum had this idea to be like, how can I keep him home? Got it. I'm going to put a wrestling ring in the garden. So then that's how we started Backyard Wrestling. We would like film these YouTube videos. Like it's all out there. It's RCWA. My backyard name was Ace Payne, if anyone wants to look it up. Yeah, mate. Yes, mate. Yes. But like I'd go out and we'd film it, and then we'd find out there's a community of backyard wrestlers. We all started wrestling. These guys found us, brought us to the London School, Lucha Libre. There I am in the red.
Wow.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah. Oh, mate, I'm so young.
What are you? You're 32 now?
I'm 31 now, so I was 17 at this time.
So look at you, man, young buck. So what? So you owe this to your mom, right?
Yeah, I'd show this to mum. Mum would hate it. Mum couldn't watch me wrestle for ages, but I got to bring her to the Tokyo Dome, which was one of my last ones with New Japan. It was like 30,000 people in the building, and like the greatest feeling in the world was when I'd done the show and the Japanese crowd finally done the Ospreay during the song. And I can only imagine what that felt like for mum. I've got like a video of them all like losing their mind. My mum and dad's like just absolutely loving it, and she understood that this is my home.
That's awesome.
Watching this video, 17 years old. Had you had training at this point?
Yeah, so like I just started training. I actually had like one of my like first professional wrestling matches like 3 weeks prior to this. But like this is why I say to people all the time, like we didn't have the outlet in England to go and do, like it was all like not even nightclubs, like social clubs.
Right.
I would love for you guys to see some of my like first indie matches, because they're like you'd like hitting the ropes and the guy would throw a clothesline, so you'd have to duck him, but there'd be a projection screen there as well. So you have to duck that as well. So like we cultivated our own independent circuit, and we almost created an indie style in the UK. So I would do this. You see that ladder as well in the background on the car? That's my car. Do you know what I mean? That's 1999 Ford Fiesta, bruv. Boy racer motor sometimes.
Dude, this is very kinetic, very skilled.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if you ever had thoughts. I know that wrestling was appealing to you, but you could have been a gymnast as well.
Yeah, I could have trained for the Olympic team at one point, but it never fascinated me. I loved dancing. I love the gymnastic side of things, but I'd done a couple trampolining stuff, and I couldn't be bothered with it.
Will, who did you get to be the referee, and how much did you pay him?
I don't know. I would have to watch it again and just be like, who is that guy? But like a lot of it would be like, it wouldn't be like kind of how we do wrestling now, where it's kind of like it's a show, bang, bang, bang. We would do a match, and then we'd be like, all right, who's next? Like, and stop the cameras, and then we'd be like, oh, it's Brian next. Do you know what I mean? It'd be done like that. But yeah, honestly, we would just take turns being referees. I was the referee at one point. I've even said, like, after I'm done wrestling, I would love to be a referee.
Well, listen, we're looking at you. You clearly, where your chops are, you've got to hear. I mean, you're flipping around like crazy. It's what you do right now, and then some. I have to ask, because so many wrestlers we talk about all the time have that they're great with people. They know how to deliver. You mentioned Marvel earlier. Movies, has Guy Ritchie talked to you at all?
Mate, no, he don't know who I am. Like, you know what I mean? But
any interest at all? Or
I mean, I would do it, but like, I'll be brutally honest with you. I can't read very well.
Okay.
I've always struggled with it.
You're
like,
dyslexic?
Very much so. But like, I've struggled reading. The words get jumbled up, and I struggled so much with it, and I'm kind of embarrassed about it. I never liked public speaking. I'm nervous talking to you guys. My number one fear right now is to blurt out the F word. And my guy told me, don't swear. So I sit in, don't swear. But like,
we have a button, so we're good in case you do.
Oh, thank God. But no, I don't really enjoy public speaking very much. And like, to read something, if somebody handed me a script and said, we need you to read this word for word, like it would terrify me.
We talk to people all the time, and obviously I'm a little bit dyslexic myself, so I get it. I'm not profoundly.
Welcome to the club.
But like Henry Winkler, we were talking to, Fonzie, if you're from your Happy Days, the actor, and things since then. He very dyslexic, and now he's written like 30, kids' books and stuff like that. I mean, but I get it. But I mean, you have that charisma that I think would translate on screen.
I appreciate it. I mean, I'm trying my best because like now that I've got like a little stepson, I'm trying my best to do some reading more with him I can help myself. Like I read him bedtime stories and stuff like that. So I want to try my best days so that way, like, he's way smarter than I am. I'll be reading something and he'll be like, no. and he'd correct me. He'd correct me, man. So I was like, shut up, what'd you know?
How old is he?
He's 6.
Okay.
Any wrestling moves?
Nah, mate. I'll be honest with you, he's not that fascinated about it, but like, there was this one really nice moment. So we just done AEW Revolution, right? Just done the steel cage over in LA. And I jumped off the thing. Like a Spanish fly off the top of a 20-foot cage. And I picked him up, I ain't seen him in 10 days. And he does this thing where all of his mates like run and they sprint towards the gate. So we're like trying to play catch up. And I can see his mates like looking back and looking at me like that. They keep looking. I can't hear a word they say. And then one of his mates goes, da-da-da-da-da. Cage match. And then he just turns and just goes, oh, it's just my dad. And I was just like, but I feel like that he's called me dad before, but it was like the first time he's like kind of said it amongst like a bunch of people. So
how did that feel? Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. Like, it really made me happy.
If you're just tuning in, it's Will Ospreay that's joining us, and AEW Dynasty is happening on Sunday at Leah Core Center, and you want to go. It's going to be a big event. Who are you wrestling on?
I'm wrestling
Sunday?
Kevin Knight, so I've known Kevin since back in Japan. He showed so much promise, and like, I'll be honest with you, I'm known as the aerial assassin, right? As time has gone on, like I've grounded myself a lot more because I need to be able to throw the chops, throw the strikes a little bit more. And I was in the ring with Kevin as a tag team, and his jumps and his aerial offense is like crazy. So I'm going to have to really hone in on that and really dissect his performance as well as we go. Like, I'm really excited to be wrestling him because he's got so much star quality about him.
It's spectacular. I mean, you were saying, and it's not flippant to say it's a live stunt show. I mean, you're seeing stuff. I mean, especially the way we talk about the wrestlers of yore and how you guys are all in prime shape, prime athletes. You may not be sumo size, but you're doing.
I wish I was sumo size. I could eat anything.
Yeah, but you're right, exactly. But no, it's amazing what you guys are able to pull off. We've all been to various matches, and it's like, wow, man. Especially when you see it in person, it's a whole other level.
It's one of those things where like we're doing multiple of jobs, right? So we're trying to like perform these incredible stunts and do these incredible moves, but we're also like conductors as well because we're trying to make the crowd come along with us. We're wearing many hats, and it's such an improvisation sometimes when you're out there. So it's a lot of the times where you don't know what's going to happen, and when the red light's on, man, like anything can happen at any point.
Is Will Ospreay your birth name?
William Ospreay is my birth name. My mum calls me Billy. So.
Billy, yeah. No, I was just wondering because, a lot of people change their names and get into characters, and you had mentioned one earlier. But were you happy to get back to being the real you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Ospreay is such a cool name because it's a bird anyway.
It is. Yeah.
So like, it's spelled different, but I thought like that's such a cool showbiz name, and I was like, you know what? If I want to get anyone famous, I'm getting me famous. Like, I'm getting my mum's name famous, mate.
Do you know the benefit is when they write the check to your name, you don't have to go in and say, no, this is really me. When you're right, because that can be a problem if you have a pseudonym, right?
Yeah, no, but any time that I was coming over here, like, get look, what are you here for? Do you know what I mean?
Wow. So you're in town this weekend, and then after that, you're flying right back home?
No, we're going to go to, I think it's Baltimore afterwards, right?
Okay.
Baltimore afterwards but like I'm going to stick around. I'm going to go do some stuff around Philadelphia.
Awesome.
With all of your miles that you acquire in the air, what are the perks that you get from the airlines?
I get to use the lounge and I eat all their food.
You get more than just a friggin' lounge. Yeah.
I mean, I get a little bed. I enjoy myself. Like, I bring my missus along all the time.
They're gonna have to get you like a little plaque or something like that for getting you like millions of miles eventually.
Oh no, I'm just some guy. They don't care. They're just kind of like, oh, thanks for flying. Give us the money all the time.
All
It's
right.
like, not my money.
I have to ask you, with all those miles, how much luggage has been lost?
Oh, Delta always loses my luggage. So like, I'm calling Delta out on this, man. Like, they always, without fail, anytime there's a connection, they always lose it. But I will give them credit; they go above and beyond to try and find it again.
Right.
But can you just stop losing it? I beg of you. I beg of you, man. Like, one of these days, I'm going to be like needing my kick pads. I swear.
Do you put Apple? We talk about putting Apple AirTags in the luggage.
I should do that.
Yeah.
I don't do it. I'll be honest with you. I'll land in England and it's not even on the forefront of my mind. It's like, I want to go pick up my kid. I want to have some fun during the weekends. I get Monday and then I'm out again Tuesday.
Yeah, man. Wow, you're working hard.
I work super hard, man, and I wear the AEW flag like on my shoulders all the time. I want to represent the company as best as I physically can because we're the underdog, man. A lot of people don't want to see AEW succeed. I do. Like, I was sick of just seeing one wrestling company dominate America. So, like, for me to come over here, it truly is a blessing, especially coming from England. Like, this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone other than like maybe one other guy that still remains in his country and flies over every single week to perform to you guys and to give everything that I can. And I'm super grateful for it. And I don't take this job lightly. So I really do perform to the best of my abilities, and I want this place to be around for 50 odd years, so then that way we can have an option, and we can have an alternative, and we can have something that we can be proud to call ourselves pro wrestlers.
Absolutely.
And a little more action in the AEW, as you said.
So
too,
much more action.
Nice.
Way better action.
All right, so
way better action.
The matches are taking place on Sunday at the Liacouras Center. It's also available on pay-per-view, but get those tickets. Go and see All Elite Wrestling Dynasty here in Philadelphia. Will, it's great to meet you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me, guys. The tickets are available at AEWTIX.com. So, like, I think honestly, there's only 1,000 left.
Okay.
So, like, it is rammed, mate. So, like, get them while you still can, because honestly, you're not going to want to miss this. This one, Dynasty, last year, I faced my hero, Bryan Danielson. Tore it down. Dynasty is going to have such a great event. So I hope you guys can all come. Shout out to Swerve. I hope he wins the world title.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think they could have a better ambassador than you. So,
God bless you,
keep
mate.
at it, man.
Yeah, you got to come back here next time you're in Philadelphia.
Anytime, boss man.
Love
Just
it.
have your finger on that button just in case.
Done and done. And you passed with flying colors.
I know.
by the
I
way,
can't
Rob.
believe I did it. Eh? My Lord, I've done it.
Will Ospreay, guys.
Thank you kindly, lads.
We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
And it was gone. I was like, all right.
If you're talking
Well,
if you're talking about restaurants, my dad, it was his thing. 'Cause he worked for Diners Club for a while, so we'd going out. One of the early credit cards, if you're not familiar, and so we'd sit down. The waitress or waiter would come over. 4 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, please.
Love you, Dad.
That's your dad joke.
Let me go to Marina. Hi, Marina. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Marina. It says here you are a prosecutor.
Yeah.
All right, and we were just talking about somebody had said that their mom comes in for their cases.
Yes. So mine does too, as will other family members of mine. And I didn't think much of it until the one day when the judge was like, "Oh, who are you here for?" Because most of the people in the courtroom are not just the general public; they're for a case. And I had to stand there and be like, "Oh, that's my mom."
So in the spectators, Marina, it's usually people who are somehow tacitly connected to the case, right?
Yes.
Right. But do you have people who basically consider that like going to the multiplex and can go in and watch?
No, it's never happened to me.
All right.
But the judge asked, like, "Oh, what case are you here for?" Because we were almost done, and I had to stand and say, "No, that's just my mom."
I was helping my daughter fake some evidence last night.
Did the judge react? Did he find it cute?
Yeah, she just laughed. She
did. Oh,
That's
great.
awesome, though. That's great that you're doing that and she's coming by to watch.
She's proud of her
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is great.
All right, thank you, Marina.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
My uncle tries death penalty cases, and I have forever wanted to watch him.
Yeah.
I want to see him, and he won't let us.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's too much. It's too stressful. It's
Before we talk about the lethal injection, my niece is here.
She's on the radio.
Her, yeah.
but same thing.
And it's just great to have her here. Now back to the injection.
No, but I'm so proud of him. I mean, he's gotten people off of death row that should have falsely
been on death row.
No, that were falsely accused.
That's awesome.
He had to move out of a state because he got a black man off of death row.
Really?
They said as soon as this case is over, you have to move. So anyway, that's a side story. But we as a family, we are so proud of him. I would love to see him try a case, even if it's not that serious. But
I could see though you get thrown off your game. I mean, something much less is when you're a performer. When I would do stand-up comedy, my dad saw me a couple times, but when friends or people come down, it throws you off your game a bit. And if someone's life is hanging in the balance, I could see where you don't want to take the risk.
I'm going to go to, we're talking about parents embarrassing you. This sounds good. I'm going to go to Debbie. Hey there, Debbie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Debbie?
Hi.
Hi.
So this is an area that maybe Casey is familiar with. I was a Fatima girl.
Okay. Yeah, where were you, Glen Olden?
Briarcliff.
Briarcliff, there you go.
None of us have any idea what it means.
Do you live on Rively Avenue over there? Or?
So anyway, back when young teenagers, around 14, my dad was a township commissioner, and every once in a while, he worked with the police closely, and he would every once in a while drive around with the cops in the neighborhood just to check out things. And at 14, we were walking around the neighborhood just hanging out, and there was probably about 20-25 of us, and the cop car kind of pulled up alongside of us. And you know how the cops have the loudspeaker bullhorn?
Yeah, they have a PA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the cop announced with all these kids, "Is Debbie here in the crowd?" And I almost died because everyone turned around and looked at me. And then he said, "Debbie, your dad's here in the car. Come over and say hi." And everyone lost it.
Oh, I love it. Is Debbie here? We're looking for. She's on a prostitution charge.
I almost died because everyone turned around and just started laughing, and I was just I was so embarrassed. And then I was mad. I was like, "Oh my God, how could you do this to me?"
It's hilarious.
A teenage
It's
girl
hilarious.
and be embarrassed in front of friends. I'll bet you were really pissed off.
Oh my God, I was mad. Yeah, because later when my dad came home and I wasn't even talking to him, and he was like, "What are you mad at?" I'm like, "Dad," I'm like, "that was so embarrassing." He's like, "I was just saying hi." I'm like, "No."
That's so great.
Discreet. Be
It's
discreet.
cute. Yeah.
All right, Debbie,
Yeah.
thank you. I
Debbie,
love
by
it.
the way, I have two Briarcliff stories. One, I was in love with a Briarcliff girl in high school, and she wouldn't give me the time of day. Look at what you missed out on, baby. Secondly, I broke my wrist in Briarcliff as well when I was in college.
Oh. Okay.
There you go.
Maybe you and your parents can all get together and you can chat
This
about
morning, a revelation on the Preston and Steve show as Casey revealed he broke his wrist.
It was a bad one, too, man.
He says it was a bad one.
I'm going to go to Brian for another call, and we'll stay on topic here. Hey, Brian, good morning.
Good morning, it.
Good morning, it. What's up, my man?
So when I was about 15 years old, the once a month where Dad wasn't working 90 hours that week, he would drop you off at school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 15. He would roll down the window and yell, "Hey, Bri, you forgot to give me a kiss goodbye."
That's so great.
And would you just turn around and flip him off, or what would you do?
I would awkwardly laugh and then walk away.
Yeah.
And then I'd get home that day from school and he's sitting there laughing his ass off still about it. And I'm like, I'm going to get you back one of these days. Now, at 32 years old, I dropped him off at the gym the other day, and I yelled out, "Dad, you forgot to give me a kiss."
Oh, that's excellent.
Awesome.
Well done, Brian.
Thank you.
Well done. Thanks, man.
Our friend Meredith just texted me. She said, I was out with my dad once, and he would say to people in front of me, "She knows Preston and Steve and Joe Conklin."
Oh, that's great.
funny.
All right, Craig Lagans is on the line. Yo, Craig, good morning.
What up, white folks?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. One of the things my mother loved to do was she would come to a bookstore where I worked, and not only because she loved books, but she was also there to remind the other customers, if they liked me, that she was the one that got me the job.
She was boasting about getting you the job at the bookstore.
Yes, I was engaged with one customer because we both liked the same books, and she goes, "Yeah, isn't this great?" Well, this is my son, and I saw him sitting on his ass watching TV for nothing but hours and hours. So I said, "You need to get a job." So you had the customer service up because of me.
That's great.
Oh.
That's awesome.
That's funny. All right. Thanks, Craig. Have a good weekend, man. We'll see you.
Thank you.
All right. There was a call up here earlier, and they're not on anymore, but they say that their mom would embarrass them regularly when they would go out to eat and would talk to the server and tell him, "Oh, he's such a picky eater. He won't," and going on and on about that like every single time that they would go out to eat.
Yeah.
And that's just mom's indirect way of nagging at him to try to eat.
That's a Beverly
something
Goldberg, from the series. That's exactly how she's depicted.
Let me go to Keith. Hey, Keith. Good morning.
Good morning, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, buddy. What's up?
A few years back, I had run out of some allergy medication, and my father was on the same prescription, so I asked him if I could borrow a few.
Oh, no.
He obliged and gave me the medication, and I went to work, threw one in my mouth as always, and about 2 hours into my shift, I realized I had a bit of a sinus headache, and I kind of felt lightheaded. And then I called my dad, and I asked him what kind of medicine he gave me, because I told him I wasn't feeling too well, and he just started dying laughing on the phone. That's when he told me that, unbeknownst to me, he gave me some of his new Cialis.
Oh, my God.
He gave you Cialis.
He gave me Cialis. So I went to work, and for pretty much the duration of the afternoon, I had to sit at my desk and ask people to get stuff off the top.
Because
you
had a boner.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and he laughed about that and brought it up.
Talk about a unique way to embarrass your child.
I'm going to give him a boner at work.
That's a little indirect, but wow. Okay.
And for years afterwards, he would still bring up the story and remind people who, in case they had not heard the story.
Oh, so he would tell people this story. Okay.
Oh, this was one of his crowning achievements. I believe.
Right.
Giving you ED pills.
God.
Yeah.
You have a massive erection.
Nice, Keith. Thanks for sharing. We appreciate it. All right, one more, and then we got to take a break. I'm going to go to Kevin. Hey, Kevin, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah!
Dear God.
By the way, that is a ringtone now?
Yep.
People were asking about that.
Yes.
And there's a few other things if you'd
You
like
can
it.
get the Yoo-Hoo tune and a few other things. What's going on, Kevin?
How much? How are you guys?
Good. All right, what's your story, bud?
So my father used to come down when I was a child, or when I had my friends over, and he used to poop with the door open while smoking a cigarette.
With the door open while smoking a cigarette while other kids are there.
Yes.
You get arrested for that nowadays.
Yeah. You're exposing yourself.
Wow.
Yes.
He just didn't
Nobody
care.
cared back then. But,
Yeah.
And apparently he didn't care either.
You know what? My friend's dad used to do that too.
Just door open?
Door open.
Smoking?
Smoking a cigarette. Kid
door
you
wide
not.
open.
Bubba Martin
all
was
the
his
time,
name.
even if my friends weren't there, but.
Dude,
Really-
Kevin, I also think a lot of guys who went through the military, I'm going right here. You get used to it, in front of other people.
Wow.
Yep.
Did you ever tell him to stop doing that, Kevin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he didn't care.
He didn't care.
I've got to poop.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm going to play that audio one more time, Casey. We got this whole conversation started. A TV reporter was setting up for a shoot. It wasn't live on the air, but the camera was rolling. And as he's there, his mom drives by, and they catch it.
Is it because this is my mom. Hold on. I'm trying to work right now. You over there calling my phone. This is D'Angelo. You can say hi. And don't be holding up traffic because you got cars behind you.
I love her. I love her so much.
Oh, my gosh.
So proud.
Yep. All right, well, listen, we're going to take a break. We got some guests joining us. We're going to have Moses Storm is going to be at the Helium Comedy Club this weekend, and Mina Starziak from the show Good Bones will be on because she's going to be at the Philadelphia Home and Garden Show that's going on. Do we have some tickets I can give away
Actually,
real quick?
yeah. They have the winner sheet over there.
Yeah, we'll take callers 5 and 6 at 215-263 WMMR, and you will get to go to the Home and Garden Show. And you can save on tickets at phillyhomeandgarden.com. It is at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks. We'll be back in a moment.
There's
I think I'm going to whip out the pipe this morning.
Yeah.
I didn't have it yesterday. Yeah, and I think I'm going to smoke a bowl right here in the studio.
all right.
That's what I'm going to do. No, it's the historian. And yesterday I didn't realize I was doing a historical story until part of the way through, and I didn't have my pipe ready.
So, but okay, I like that.
But this is...
But we're not going to mandate the pipe since you kind of came in through the other door.
This is true.
All right.
But, so this is an interesting look at the historian, by the way.
So this is a look at the historian?
No. This is an interesting take on this segment, I should
I'm sorry,
say.
I didn't go to college.
Yes, you did.
So, we live in a day and age where at least every week we'll see word of a new social media challenge. TikTok is rife with challenges. And one of the classic ones, I think, was maybe more originated on Twitter or somewhere else, but like the Tide Pod challenge.
The cinnamon.
The cinnamon thing, yeah, where you try and
absolutely
keep that in your mouth. And we always comment on how stupid these are, and some of them we don't even acknowledge because they're so dumb. I mean, there's some that go back a few years ago, like planking. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Or the Harlem Shake.
But this time,
things like that.
in this time we're at currently, because of all the social media that's available, specifically TikTok, there seems to be one every couple days.
There does. But the historian is here to tell you that throughout the history of mankind, we have been doing stupid challenges as a race. All right, as the human race, we have been taking on stupid challenges and fads. I'm going to cover some fads as well in this, okay? So
is this going to be on the test?
It may be on the test. I would pay attention. I would take notes if I were you. So we'll begin with some that you've probably heard of before, like the goldfish challenge.
That's a classic. Whenever from the 50s, I think of the goldfish challenge.
Talking about swallowing a goldfish?
Right, swallowing a goldfish.
Yes.
Oh.
You ever know anybody that swallowed a goldfish?
I do.
I do. Yeah. You actually swallowed one?
Yeah. It was not a proud moment, but
Was
it
it
was
a college
moment.
Okay.
And I was one of two people in the room who did it. And it was we bought those goldfish specifically to do the goldfish challenge.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, the goldfish trend actually they know exactly who started it. It started...
The WMMR.
My thanks, Kath. Case, you look like you want to contribute something.
Well, Spirit Box is a Canadian heavy metal band originally from Victoria, British Columbia.
Is Spirit Box, Steve, is that what they use on those like ghost shows? I've seen a guy hold the thing and they supposedly picks up the EVPs
They'll call it that, yeah. And then the Spirit Box has another connotation. And I watch a lot of those shows. Preston, what kills me with those things, it's funny, we were just talking about this. So like the Ghost Adventures, a lot of those shows, they'll get their things like a Spirit Box. And so this thing will help you hear a ghost talk, and then they'll turn it on and be, and he'll say, "Did you hear it? Like, well, hear what?" And like, you can't develop something that gets rid of that ridiculous extra sound. My guess is it's so noisy because it's all BS and there are no ghosts talking. But I digress.
Yeah.
All right. I was just curious.
Just had this conversation. I'm like, if he said get out of the house because I'm going to kill you, I couldn't hear it because it sounds so crappy.
Yeah, they're drummers from Philly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Zev Rose.
The singer has a lovely voice.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Nelly Furtado.
She's a Canadian.
And they'll be in town actually at the Fillmore on the 14th.
Oh,
so
okay.
in just over a week.
And the drummer's Zev?
Yeah, Zev Rose is the drummer's name.
All right, cool, nice. I know we have the bizarre file, but if I don't ask this now, I'll forget about it. Kathy had mentioned some traffic because she was delivering the traffic, and she either mentioned White Horse Pike or Black Horse Pike.
White Horse.
Do we know the origin of White Horse Pike and Black Horse Pike? I'm just curious.
Like, I mean, they are roots. Like, they do have.
No, I know that, but I mean, where the name came
like
from.
Race Street was where they used to race horses. You know, there was a.
Well, yeah, and like we have like Church Road and Meeting House and Cow Path out by me, and those are kind of self-explanatory. Marissa, you look like you want to jump in.
Yeah, well, according to the Legacy of New Jersey's Equestrian Roadways, the White Horse Pike was named for the White Horse Tavern, a popular spot in the 1800s and early 1900s.
Oh. And did they just, and then why Black Horse Pike?
Black Horse Pike, 1903, it was designated the route as the Blackwood Pike.
All right, I was curious if there was like a legend of the White Horse or the Black Horse or something like that. So, okay, curious. All right, thank you, Marissa. Appreciate that. We can now move on to the Bizarre File.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Natural Lawn of America. That's Steve's lawn care company that keeps his lawn greener and safer for his pets. You can get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED today. All right, this has never happened in the Bizarre File. I have two very similar stories going back to back. We'll start with this first one. I mean, sometimes I do have similar stories, but not of this nature. The Indianapolis Zoo confirmed its president and CEO suffered an injury while feeding a chimpanzee last week.
Oh, man, what happened?
The zoo said that President CEO Rob Shoemaker had his finger bitten while feeding a chimpanzee through a mesh barrier. Schumacher received medical attention for the injury. He's recovered. The chimpanzee involved in the incident suffered no ill effects.
That tasted terrible.
The zoo opened its Penny and Jock Fortune International Chimpanzee Complex in May of last year, becoming one of the largest chimpanzee habitats in the country. At the time, the zoo said it featured the complex had 3 indoor and outdoor living spaces and a part of a quarter-mile of overhead trail. Now, over in Seattle, a zookeeper at Woodland Park Zoo had a serious injury to their hand after they were bitten by an orangutan. Through a mesh barrier.
So in both these cases, to me, when you're dealing, especially like with a crazed chimp, could be way worse than just having a bit finger.
But it's funny that I had two different zoo stories of the exact same nature.
And what differentiates them? An orange butt.
Yeah, so the incident happened during a routine training session. The staff member was immediately taken to a hospital where they were treated for the injury.
Ow, my finger.
It's unclear exactly what kind of injury the keeper got, but orangutans have very strong, large jaws for cracking and crushing fruits with hard, thick shells.
All right, can I jump in here for a second?
Yeah.
Can we make it okay to say orangutan? Because I say it, and I find it hard to say orangutan.
I've always said orangutan. There's no G at the end of the word.
But can we just now, it is now a rule that we're instituting that orangutan is, because I say that all the time, and I know it's inaccurate, but I can't help it. It seems the right way to say it.
Well, can we also get away with saying porcupine?
No, I've never said porcupine.
Never.
I'm sorry, you'll get no support here.
Damn it, well then I'm not supporting you.
Do you say porcupine?
No, but people do.
Okay.
This is the orangutan initiative. You can't muscle in on it.
I've never heard that.
You never heard porcupine?
No.
You live in the Philadelphia area.
Porcupine.
Porcupine.
So anyway, orangutans,
thank you,
are generally non-aggressive towards humans and each other, and they can often exhibit very human-like behavior.
I would like to submit the Orangutan Initiative as the title of Steve's autobiography.
Yes, the Orangutan Initiative, and be there with the pipe.
Yeah.
I love that.
And Jane Goodall sitting on my lap.
So the zoo said it thoroughly is investigating how this incident occurred, and the animal care managers will also evaluate the protected contact barriers to determine whether any modifications are necessary. Orangutan.
Look for Steve Morrison's new book, The Orangutan Initiative.
An Air France flight, we were just talking about something like this the other day, to the Caribbean, returned to Paris last week after a passenger could not locate their cell phone, taking the precautionary measure to avoid a safety hazard if the unattended phone overheated.
Okay, yeah. We talked about it, and flying down to spring training and flying back both times, the in-flight crew admonished you that if your cell phone fell out and fell into the chair, to get them to remove it.
It was the airline's second Caribbean-bound flight to turn around because of a phone since early February, as the aviation industry grapples with the risk of fires sparked by lithium batteries. I have a question about lithium batteries.
Yes.
I have a question more specifically about vape batteries.
Right.
Which use, I believe, lithium batteries in there. So can we take those on planes at all?
Yes, but you're not allowed to put them in your, you have to do carry-on.
You have to check it. Can't be checked luggage.
Can't be checked
you
luggage.
can take them.
Yeah.
You just can't check them.
You can't check lithium batteries at all, whether they be in a vape or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
They made me check my orangutan.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
In the most recent case, the passenger and crew could not find the phone after the plane left Paris Orly Airport. Off the coast of France, the Boeing 777 turned, circled, and it returned to the airport. It landed back where it started a little more than 2 hours after taking off. Air France did not say where on the plane the phone was lost or where it was ultimately located. They said after checks by the maintenance teams, the device was found and the aircraft was able to take off
again quickly.
So this has become a more full-throated effort on their part, because I don't ever remember them being as strict or at least assertive about this. It seems to be something that they are now very attuned to.
Yeah, it makes sense, because when those things do catch fire, they're very difficult to put out.
It's
I know
like a flame.
that some airlines will carry like a flame retardant bag.
Yeah.
In case there is a fire, and they can maybe throw it in there real quick in an emergency. Running has been a part of Antonio Rao's life for 80 years, and the 92-year-old Italian man has no plans of stopping anytime soon. This year, he completed his 30th consecutive Rome Marathon in under 7 hours. He is 92, like I said, and not your average senior citizen.
I drove most of the way.
He lives for running and still trains 20 to 30 kilometers each week.
That's amazing.
Born in 1933, he ran away from his home in Calabria to Rome, where when he was just 10, and has not stopped running since. He claims that he started running daily as a teenager to keep up with a friend, and it became a huge part of his life, and he hasn't missed a single Rome Marathon in the last 3 decades.
Well, look at a picture of this guy. He looks much younger than his age.
Yeah. He said, if I can do it at this age, anyone can. I'd like to be an example of that. I can't. I have a torn MCL.
Yeah, you're just a pussy.
I guess so. This year, Antonio Rao crossed the finish line of the Rome Marathon in 6 hours, 44 minutes, and 16 seconds, actually improving on last year's performance by 10 minutes.
Wow. Is anybody here?
Finishing under 7 hours is amazing for a man in his 90s, but his top achievement remains his 2023 finish, when he set a new world record for his age category, which is 90 plus. And he finished the marathon in 6 hours and 14 minutes to break the M90 world record by a staggering 30 minutes.
And he also wants to have sex with 500 women on his OnlyFans.
And why not? Why not? All right, and then we'll do one more story, and we will wrap it up. Here's another one out of France. A small delicatessen shop in Cannes, France, has been making international news headlines because of its controversial name. It is called, and Nick and I will do my best.
Okay.
Ma femme es un caccione.
My wife is a pig?
My wife is a sow.
A sow,
wow.
Yes, exactly. Yes, so that's the name of the restaurant.
My wife is a sow.
Ever since it opened in mid-January, it's been getting a lot of attention because of the name, founded by a couple of bon vivants who love good food. The shop sells all kinds of treats, from cold cuts to spirits. And a lot of people are drawn by the name.
Located right across the street from my balls itch.
It sounds like an insult, but the two male co-founders swear that they have nothing against their spouses. In fact, both of theirs find the name funny. They wanted a name that attracted attention, and they definitely hit the mark with their choice, but it managed to attract some unwanted attention, as the local council says that they can't have a sign up that says that, so they had to move it inside.
Aww. Well, they have a cute little like character drawn, I guess, which is so okay, whatever.
And there you go. That is what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll test your knowledge of the program today. Lesson question, and we'll get our trash and music news too. So stay with us. We'll be right back. University at college in 1939 when freshman Lothrop Withington.
Lothrop?
Yes.
Lothrop, what are you doing with that fish?
Fluffy.
Oh, this is ridiculous. I hope you don't do that to the dog.
He bragged to his friends that he once swallowed a live fish.
Lothrop?
His friends put together $10 and they bet him that he couldn't do it again. Lothrop chewed up a goldfish.
He chewed it.
Won $10 and became a legend after doing that. And swallowing goldfish spread and became competitive, with students eating more and more fish to win pre-internet viral fame.
Chewing a goldfish, I did not know that was the original way it was done.
You're supposed to swallow it whole?
I always heard you just pop it down.
I think it eventually turned into that.
All right.
Yes.
I had a friend who could swallow things whole and then bring them back up. He would do like lit cigarettes. He would do goldfish, like anything.
There's people that can do that.
There's a guy whose whole act.
Yeah, it was I think he was he Australian?
I think he's Australian.
David Blaine does it too.
And he did it all over.
He would do like this. You go,
yeah, he would go
that sound.
He would go, and he would. Did you ever see that?
So weird.
I feel like I have.
He would take like a miniature Rubik's cube.
Yeah.
It's completely solved. Throw it in his stomach and then mix it up.
He did light bulbs and stuff.
And then
too.
he would
Light
kick it back up.
bulbs.
He would mix it up.
Yeah. He had incredible control of his stomach.
Did we have him in studio, or am I misremembering?
No,
we did not.
No, I don't.
I absolutely would have.
This guy
remembered that.
was big in like.
He was on Letterman a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was in there,
So anyhow, the swallowing goldfish spread, and the hopefully never to be broken record belongs to Clark University's Joseph Diliberado. He ate 89 fish in one sitting. The trend is not practiced widely these days, but it never fully died. You can check out YouTube for evidence.
You know, it's
on
funny.
that.
Like I'm recoiling, and I'm like, I must have eaten 60 pounds of salmon in the.
Yeah, I know.
We eat fish as human beings.
Yeah.
All right, another fad or a challenge.
Can I guess one of that time?
History? Sure.
Historian?
Yeah.
Piling in a phone booth?
Well, yes. You want me to get to that one?
Oh, that's
Okay.
Because that to me, when I think of the goldfish, I think of that around the same time as the
cramming as the you could call 19 nerds in a phone booth.
Do you guys remember seeing pictures of this?
UCLA got as high as 17, but the ultimate phone booth stuffing record was set in 1959 when 25 people in South Africa crammed themselves into one box.
How is that possible?
They would literally position themselves and what do you call it? Contortionists,
Yes.
I guess, you know?
Listen, you talk about Mike Jarek earlier talking about being claustrophobic. Could you imagine being that in there?
No, that could be serious. Somebody could die.
Standard phone booth, which we're looking at a picture of a standard phone booth that I remember from the time. Are other countries at that time, did they have bigger phone booths, or was they a set standard?
The UK's seemed bigger.
The call boxes,
I've been
right?
in the call boxes,
Yeah.
so I don't really know. But this took place in South Africa. Canadian students reportedly crammed 40 kids in a box, but it turned out that they were cheating by using an extra large phone booth. So, Steve, I guess sometimes they would
liars
keep an eye on what that was. So, yes, Steve, you got that one right. All right, so another one that goes back as a stupid challenge from the past, not just viral, but this is back in the day. Pole sitting.
Yes.
Popularized in the 1920s by sailor, attention whore, Alvin Shipwreck Kelly.
Attention whore.
The pole sitting challenge, a.k.a. flag pole sitting, which I think is what that song is named after,
Yes.
flag pole sitter, involved staying on a small platform atop a pole for as long as possible.
It's another David Blaine thing.
This little blip on the pop culture radar went viral and then shrunk to obscurity by the end of the 1920s. It is periodically popping back up, though, like David Blaine or the Harvey Danger song. The longest pole sit ever took place from 1982 to 1984.
Oh, my God.
Long past pole sitting's golden age when H. David Werder spent 439 days on a post in Clearwater, Florida.
How do you even pull that off?
Werder's world record is a little suspect, though. He lived in a capsule on the top of a pole that seemed to have straddled the line between platform and small room. So it was kind of a, instead of being exposed to the elements that whole time.
We did our own sort of contribution to this. We had our intern at the time, Joe, sit on a toilet.
Yes.
It was in a...
It was a punishment.
Yeah.
It was in a cherry picker.
And it was, where were we off? We were off
It was right by 95 in the Blue Route.
There's Pisano Concrete.
There you go. Because we knew it would be a high visibility area.
Right.
And we'd put Joe up there for 24 hours sitting on that thing. His legs got numb. Oh, man. It's poor Joe. We did some stupid
He
things.
should, by all rights, he should hate the hell
He should
out of
hate us.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that was our version of it. We had people go by and honk their horn.
Yeah.
And it drove them
It was
crazy.
actually good weather, though, I remember.
Yeah, it was.
All right.
So it was okay.
Yeah, so it was fine.
So it's fine, yeah.
Other stupid challenges, and you guys all know this, but streaking. And streaking is not necessarily, it still is done today, but it was in the 1970s. People were doing it all the time.
There was a song by Ray Stevens, was it The Streak, right?
The Streak, yeah. So Interrupting something by running around naked was a huge thing in the inexplicable 1970s, but
vulnerable.
Streaking has a surprisingly long history before then. You can go back to Lady Godiva, who supposedly rode naked through Coventry in the 11th century. In America, our ultimate streaker was George William Crump, or the first streaker, I should say. He was suspended from Washington and Lee University for streaking incident in 1804. He went on to become a congressman, by the way. The trend caught on in a mass way in the 1960s, and by the mid-1970s was inspiring novelty songs, dinner table arguments, and mass streaking runs. The fad's high watermark was the 1974 Academy Awards ceremony.
Yes.
Where the presentation for the Best Picture Award was interrupted by a nude hippie running out of the wings, flashing a peace sign, and then dashing off stage.
I think it was in front of David Niven, was it not?
It was, yes. He was, I guess, either the host or he was presenting the award.
And he
at
had a
that
good
time.
comeback. Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember what it was. You remember what he
I
said?
guess we can see his shortcomings.
Nice. The streaker, gallery owner, and pioneering gay rights activist Robert Opel said that he posed as a journalist to get backstage, but many think the stunt was planned since Opel wasn't arrested or was doing press interviews right after the ceremony.
Yeah. I mean, with all the security, but it was kind of wild. So at that time, I also remember, and it wasn't a trend that other people were doing or a viral sort of thing, pre-viral, but Morgana, remember her? She would run out onto...
The big boob lady?
Yes, yeah. And she would kiss athletes on the field.
She would go to kiss.
Yeah.
And, but there weren't, like, a lot of people doing that.
No, she was the only one.
She did her own thing. However, here's another one for you, and this is a weird little, more of a fad, really. Intentionally infecting yourself with parasites to lose weight was a trend that began in the early 1900s. And people would swallow a pill said to contain tapeworm eggs so the worms could live in their guts and steal their food. It doesn't seem to see that song performed live at the Village Pub this weekend.
Yeah.
Really badass band called Beer 30.
Yeah, baby.
That's tonight? Oh, man.
Super long,
Get your
extended
tickets.
set.
Yep. Get your
They go
tickets
on
now.
at 9:30.
9:30?
Yeah.
It's always Beer 30, though, right?
You're right.
Yeah. All right, that's Chuck's band, by the way.
Yeah, and I didn't know what the name of the band meant until just a few weeks ago. I just thought like it was Beer 30, like a 30-pack of beer, and I had no idea that, what time is it? Oh, it's Beer 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Now I know.
You know. The more you know.
All right, today's lesson question, and start texting now. Text the word Zoom to 610-660-9333. That way you'll have the link ready to go if you do know the answer, and then you can click on it and we'll try to get... So we try to do the trash and then come right to the winner, which we used to be able to do on the phones. We don't have phones right now.
You do.
I have a phone.
You got it right behind you there.
I love
Stop saying that. You have.
I love bringing this thing over here. It's only good for a visual to our YouTube audience, but I love bringing this over here. Give us a call.
It makes us happy.
Yeah. It's an old candlestick phone that Steve got me. So, so text word Zoom to 610-660-9333, and you'll have the link already. And maybe you know the answer to this question, which is, what stripper's name was inspired by a Disney animated character? All right, that was from just before 7 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
What stripper's name was inspired by a Disney animated character? And you need to know, we have to have the first and last name if you heard it. So I know it was a little while back, but let's see if you can get on board. So text word Zoom to 610-660-9333. And while you're doing all that, we'll do this.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, let's get filled in, get some stories. Steve, what's going on this morning?
Well, Preston, Charlie Sheen's daughter, Sammy Sheen, says she and her dad are no longer on speaking terms. Sammy says the only communication they have is through the chat app on her OnlyFans page.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen. This time, it's apparently true. Bianca Censori has reportedly left Kanye West, and the word is he wants her back. Censori says she can forgive a guy for leaving the toilet seat up for not...
Oh, my God.
For not what?
But not for being a Nazi.
There you go.
God.
There we go. And finally, Melinda Gates giving an update on a relationship with ex-husband Bill Gates. Melinda says, despite the divorce, Bill still has a seat where he can come watch her, quote, make love to real men. And that's your Hollywood Trash.
Odd IT. We, I don't know. Yeah, we might get somebody here.
Okay.
Hey, it might work.
It might work.
So the question that we posed to you mere moments ago on this very radio program, the frequency of 93.3 FM, we asked the question, what stripper's name was inspired by a Disney animated character? And within that amount of time, we managed to get someone who's going to join in and possibly answer that question and win a lovely prize. And it just so happens that our man is Craig, and he's on the line. Hey, Craig.
Hey, what's up?
Yo, bud. All right, so do you know what stripper's name was inspired by a Disney animated character?
A lot of Moana.
A lot of Moana, yes! That is absolutely correct. Nice work, Craig. Hang on. We are going to give you, and I didn't even say what the prize was. How about that? 4-pack of tickets for Body Worlds.
Oh, cool.
Franklin Institute. You can see 20 stunning full-body plastinates and over 150 real specimens. You can explore the wonders of the human body like never before. Body Worlds at the Franklin Institute. You can buy tickets at af.edu.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Not AF. It's fi.eu. I keep thinking of AFI.
Oh,
American Film Institute?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's FI for Franklin Institute.
Maybe they're friends.
You
Wait.
moron.
Oh, you know what, though? There's also a crease in that page where it says buy tickets at.
Yes. Thank you, Casey.
And so the T is kind of creased out. So it does look like buy tickets AFI.
Did you ever know you were his hero?
It's not my fault. How
Not your
about
fault,
that?
son.
It's not your fault, son.
Don't do
Not you, Nick. Come on, man, not you. All right, so a new Bruce Springsteen album collection coming out this summer will include dozens of never-before-heard songs from previously unreleased records. It's called Tracks 2, The Lost Albums, and will feature 7 full-length albums that were never released from 1983 to 2018. As according to Springsteen's social media.
Comes with 500 never-released albums, 61,000 never-released singles, 200 books, 700 platters, a chicken, and a transmission from a 67 Dodge Dart.
It's the full collection.
Sometimes they put way too much in it.
Springsteen's new albums will feature 82 unreleased tracks, including 74 songs that have never been heard before. The Lost
also
Albums.
includes a pot of killer whales.
The Lost Albums were full records, some of them even to the point of being mixed and released, Bruce said. He said, I've played this music to myself and often close friends for years now, and I'm glad that you'll get a chance to finally hear them, and I hope you enjoy them. He also spoke about the album in a trailer on YouTube.
Order now and get a free year's supply of Flex Seal. Yeah, doggy!
He said, I often read about myself in the 90s as having some lost period or something. And he said, really, I was working the whole time. During the pandemic, what I did for that period of time was I finished everything and I had it in my vault. Tracks 2, the Lost Albums, will be released on June 27th via Sony Music, according to the announcement. Let's see here. The newest member of the 1 billion club is Metallica again.
What, they're billionaires?
No. This is streams.
Oh.
It's like billion.
All right. Master of Puppets has now been played over 1 billion times on Spotify.
puppets.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one?
Yeah, Charlie McCarthy, the ventriloquist dummy.
Okay. The band shared their
Hey,
excitement.
Charlie, you look awfully sad today. I didn't have a good day.
The
See my lips move?
No, I didn't see your lips move. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
You're too swollen from you getting beat up in the ring all the time.
Got my lips.
The band.
Got my lips.
Cut my lips, Mick.
I got cut my lips, Mick. I can't do prose.
The band shared their excitement on social media saying, we're psyched to share that Master of Puppets has just made its way onto Spotify Billions Club. Thank
Do you remember the horror movies in the late 80s, early 90s, the Puppet Masters?
Yeah.
There were like 8 of them. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What was it about?
This guy was like a German scientist he'd a German clockmaker, and he had all these. One was like a drill head, and the other, but they were all. He would send them forth to do his bidding, and the Puppet Master series.
Master.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, anyhow, back to Metallica. This isn't the first time a Metallica song has hit the billion mark, with Nothing Else Matters and Enter Sandman also over 1 billion streams. The song gained renewed popularity after being featured in the 4th season of Stranger Things on Netflix, where the character Eddie Munson performs it during a big scene in the Upside Down.
I wonder, in retrospect, if Eddie Munson is a riff on Eddie Munster.
Yeah, maybe the name,
because they're so pop culture oriented. The Duffer Brothers.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder what like a song like that would sound like if they just changed the distortion a little bit?
What, Master of Puppets?
Yeah, any heavy metal song. If you took that heavy metal sound out and just, I don't know, maybe gave it a
Well, here's the deal. If you go on YouTube, there are videos of people playing heavy metal songs with a clean guitar effect.
Yeah.
And it's totally different.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, no distortion, just a straight, clean guitar effect. So,
yeah, you ever seen Edge from U2 do that?
Yeah.
So it's really cool. It was some documentary with U2 a few years
might
back.
get loud.
That's what it was. Yeah, thanks, Case. Yeah, and so he'll play the riff that from U2 song, and then they turn all the effects off, and it sounds completely different.
yeah, Edge is very effect heavy in a big way. So I can imagine this doesn't sound much at all.
That's right.
Like what we're used to. So interesting. All right. And then one last story. The Russian General Prosecutor's Office has announced a nationwide ban of the Elton John AIDS Foundation, accusing the organization of opposing the country's, quote, traditional, spiritual, and moral values. The office made the announcement today specifying that the ban applied to 2 foundations registered separately in the United States and Britain under the same name. Both have been deemed, quote, undesirable organizations. This is the AIDS Foundation, gang.
Yeah.
The office said when a musician plays along with the promoters of democracy, you get propaganda. And if Elton John is at the piano, it's not just anti-Russian propaganda. They said the non-government organizations actively participate in an information campaign orchestrated by the collective West to discredit traditional values and escalate social tensions. Since 1992, the Elton John AIDS Foundation has raised more than $600 million across 95 countries. And as the mission statement says, to increase access to health care, tackle LGBTQ plus stigma, and end AIDS. Although the foundation is focused primarily on AIDS prevention and control as well, the Russian General Prosecutor's Office took particular issue with its LGBTQ plus advocacy. In a separate statement on its website, it decried the foundation for promoting, quote, non-traditional sexual relationships, Western family models, and gender reassignment. And it also suggested, without examples, that John's foundation was part of a Western campaign to denigrate Russia over its war in Ukraine.
This boggles the mind, especially because there's a 900-foot statue of Richard Marx in St. Petersburg.
Wow. And they allow that.
Yeah.
Russia's anti-LGBTQ plus sentiment has been well documented. In 2023, the Russian Supreme Court banned the so-called international LGBT movement, deeming it, quote, an extremist organization. The Elton John Foundation has not yet commented publicly on its Russian ban. And Elton John will be on Saturday Night Live this weekend.
Yeah, with Brandy Carlisle, right?
And Jack Black. That is correct. All right, and that is what I have in music news for you. We'll take a break, come back. We'll wrap up the show when we return, so stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Widespread, and there's doubt that the pills advertised in the Victorian age periodicals even contained tapeworms, but still, some people bought them.
So this was primarily during what years?
It was around turn of century.
Victorian age, so
early 1900s.
Huh.
Yeah.
And there's a
Now,
video
I
that
put
came out
Ebola in my coffee.
I'm sorry, Steve. There's a video that came out 2 years ago. It's called The Tapeworm Diet, Pros and Cons. And so I guess maybe people still consider that?
Well, here you go. It says in this article, it's still a thing today. This woman in Iowa said she bought a tapeworm off the internet and swallowed it to lose weight. And even Khloe Kardashian said she wanted to give it a try.
Oh, my God.
For the record, tapeworms can lead to malnutrition, anemia, discharge of prolatids, and even death.
Yeah, sign me up.
It won't help you lose weight either. Any tapeworms that could theoretically be found in pill form wouldn't be the kind that leads to weight loss anyway.
But you always have someone to sing a duet with.
Yeah. How do you kill a tapeworm?
You
Once
put a
it's-
firecracker up your ass.
Once it's in your body?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard stories of them going in and surgically removing tapeworms.
Exactly. There used to be the old, and this had to be a wives' tale, where you would not eat for a while and you would hold the food up, and the tapeworm would come up out of your.
Shut up.
I
That's
swear
funny.
to God. Yeah, that was an old wives' tale.
Wow.
That's how you got rid of a tapeworm.
The things that people will do to lose weight. Here's another fad. We're talking about, fads and challenges on TikTok today, and there have been plenty of them throughout the years. In the 1970s and 80s, many doctors prescribed jaw wiring to overweight patients.
Yes, I remember that.
I knew someone.
They got the jaw wired.
A friend in the family had her jaw. She was obese.
Yeah.
Had her jaw wired shut to keep her from eating. But you know what she did? She drank beer like crazy.
Oh, my
no
God.
kidding. Yeah.
Didn't matter.
Yep.
Still packed on the calories.
She didn't lose any weight.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Hey, what were those diet pills that were pretty popular back in the 80s?
Yes.
Hydroxycut?
No.
Was it called Fuel?
There were actually diet pills for a while called AIDS.
Yeah, no. This one, it is. Think of like a red and clear capsule, and inside the clear part of the capsule,
Diatrim?
Diatrim.
Diatrim.
Yeah, I remember
That's
those.
what I think. And essentially, it was
caffeine.
It was ephedrine, or
ephedrine, exactly.
Yeah, diet pills were a big thing in the 80s, and eventually people realized you can't take a pill to lose weight.
No.
Well, but the thing was it was like racing people's bodies. So like, it was like extra. I don't know if it was caffeine or whatever the hell was in it, but it wasn't healthy for the.
It's not good for you.
Yeah.
So according to this, it says if let's see, what does this say? It says if we make it literally impossible to eat anything solid, they'll have to lose weight. Seems to have been the thinking.
I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
She was taking weight pills, right?
All right, was that it?
Yeah. Typically, patients had their mouths forcibly kept shut for around 9 months.
Oh my God.
And while initial weight loss was reported, most patients put the pounds back on as soon as their traps were open. So,
isn't there a jaw clamp as well that they sold for a while?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right. Like a dental clamp.
So the practice fell in disfavor. If didn't help that, side effects can include choking on your own vomit and acute psychiatric conditions, suddenly panicking because you can't open your mouth.
Do you know what? I remember being trendy along this line, Preston. I'm going to say the 80s, smoking to lose weight.
Oh, really?
People somehow. I remember a friend of mine who felt she was overweight a little bit, started smoking. I'm like, I don't think that's a good trade-off.
Yeah. I mean, couldn't they just put you in a medically induced coma and you could lose weight that way?
I think they could.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's a great idea.
Or don't even use medicine. Just hit you with a mallet.
They would certainly handle every bit of your diet at that point. So, yeah. That's a great idea, Casey. Be in a coma for 6 months.
Listen.
You don't have to work or anything,
No.
do you?
Like at the beginning of COVID, what if you were able to miss this entire thing?
Yeah. All right.
And just lose 2 years of your life.
This is kind of a challenge from back in the day, proving that things were just as weird then as they are now. Panty raids.
Oh my God.
Were
Yes.
big.
Could you imagine that today? Could you imagine?
In the 1950s, there was a trend on college campuses where large groups of young men, often numbering in the thousands,
Oh, my God.
would gather to invade women's dorms and sorority houses to steal panties and otherwise cause trouble. There's a lot to unpack with panty raids, actually. They were partly protests against gender-based housing restrictions, partly just college kids being stupid, and partly expressions of toxic masculinity. As gross and terrifying as the idea of the panty raid is, these often spontaneous protests set the stage for the more serious student activism of the 1960s. So maybe we can
When they
blame
got serious about panty raids.
hippies on panty raids. So, yep, panty raids were a big thing for a while. Yep. All right. Other challenges and fads from days past. All right, this one I've never heard of.
All right.
Apparently, limping became a fashion trend.
We're going out limping tonight.
Yes.
Throckmorton, are you coming? What was that guy's name from Harvard?
Oh man, hang on. Let's go back and watch him.
Linthrop. We're going out hobbling.
Lothrop Withington.
Lothrop?
Yes.
Let's go limping like poor people or sick people would do. People with infirmities, they're hilarious.
Listen to how this happened. Adopting bizarre fashion because someone famous did it first is as old as time.
Cripples are so amusing.
Back in the 1860s, women from London to Edinburgh began limping. And it wasn't rickets, dropsy, or another disease of the pre-industrial age, though. It was called the Alexandra limp.
It's not like the Harlem Shuffle.
No, we're going to go do the Alexandra limp.
So you would pretend you had a limp?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's the reason behind that. Alexandra of Denmark, the bride of the Prince of Wales, was an influencer of the time. And when she was struck by a sickness in 1867, she was left with a limp. And she kept being famous and stylish, and she would show up at glam occasions with ornate walking sticks. And before long, her fans began copying that look right down to the way she limped as well.
That's like if the Kardashians had to all of a sudden use a cane or were limping.
Right.
Other
Yeah.
people would start to do it.
They might take that on just to be like them. So before long, her fans began copying the look, copying the limp. The style went viral, mostly among the young and rich who would actually, Kathy, they would buy shoes with two different sized heels
to force them to limp,
to make it easier for them to walk around like they had a limp.
Oh my gosh.
So this was of the more elite were doing this.
Yes, the stylists were doing this.
And they were doing it based on another elite individual.
You kind of see similar stuff going on now. Like it's more like dance move-ish, but like my son and his friends, they do the gritty all the time, and they're not dancing. They're not on a dance floor. They'll just, for no reason. It's essentially a touchdown.
When I come in and out of the building, I'm doing.
Loverboy 93.3 WMMR teeing up our weekend for us. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
And it's a song with cowbell. But you gotta love that.
We need to bring that game back.
The cowbell game. Maybe we'll do it again someday in the near future. 10:27 a.m. of the Preston and Steve Show. Our morning coming to a close. Today has been a lot of fun.
It has.
I want to thank everybody who is a part of the program today. And we'll start with Matt and Tam over at 6 ABC. Little Friday morning check-in, which has become our regular. I want to thank the CEO of the local Red Cross, Jennifer Graham, for being here as we have given you the date for the I Bleed for Preston and Steve blood drive. Yes, it's happening again. Now, unique thing is happening this year. 2 days instead of one. And it's because of scheduling. We will still try to do it over 1 day in future years. But this year it's going to be over 2 days. Thursday, June 12th at Live Casino Hotel Philadelphia, and Friday, June 13th at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center at Oaks. Now, the deadline for you to be able to donate now and still be eligible for our blood drive is April 17th. That's the last day. That's inside the 56-day window for the regular donation. All donors get a new Preston and Steve t-shirt. We're working on the concept of that. And you can get the information and sign up now at redcrossblood.org and use the sponsor code WMMR. But come and join us for one of the biggest blood drives in the country.
Yes, it is.
Thank you to Luis Gomez. Luis J. Gomez, who's at Punchline tonight and tomorrow night. And he's a great guy. You can go to punchlinephilly.com to get the tickets. And then we had a blast talking to wrestler Will Ospreay, who is performing with the AEW Dynasty Sunday at the Leah Chorus Center. And it's also available on pay-per-view. But he was great.
Terrific guy.
Super high energy, nice guy, and just excited to be doing what he does and excited to be in Philadelphia as well. Pierre is excited to be in Philadelphia too.
I most certainly am.
Nice to see you, sir.
And to see you is that also.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yoda.
I think that, therefore it is.
Therefore it is.
Yep.
That's it. You will it into being.
I do.
All right, how about you will us a letter? God damn it. Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
The Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by The Letter.
Relax, grasshopper.
Oh, yes.
The letter is Y, as in yesterday.
All right, and you need to text the word Zoom to 610-660-9333 and get in line. And we'll see if you know the word of the week. We'll pull somebody up, and we'll see if they know the answer, and we have a prize associated with that word. So it's coming up in a little bit. How you doing on this Friday, man?
Very well indeed.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Going to be a fun day and a nice weekend, and we're looking forward to flooring.
You're looking forward to flooring.
Yeah.
It's a new concept of what to do in early spring. You go flooring.
Time to flourish.
We're going to go flooring this week.
Oh yeah. Pickleball eats your heart out.
Yeah, this is nothing compared to flooring.
I mean, everybody's just starting to do it. Well, I've got the concession. I'll be at the Oaks Expo Center with my booth.
Hey, let's go flooring now because everybody's learning how.
Exactly.
You know?
Thank you. I rest my case.
All right. On
the show today.
Yeah, why not?
Well, sure. We'll have Pearl Jam in a workforce block for Mike McCready's birthday, which is tomorrow. We'll have a block of garbage, just went on sale at the Electric Factory. That's going to be September 16th, and I'll have tickets for that, and a workforce block of Nirvana as well.
All right. We're going to check in with a Zoomer. Here we got Frankie who's joining us. Good morning, Frank.
Hey, how you doing?
Awesome, bud. All right. If you know the word of the week prize, we got a gift for you here. What is it?
It's not my brother. It's heavy.
Great day in the morning.
That is it. Heavy is correct. I asked him for the prize. I meant to ask him for the word. All right. We have this for you, buddy. A $500 prize along with the Minecraft movie family prize pack. And that features 2 Admit to Fandango tickets, which means 4 seats altogether, 4 official film posters, 2 Minecraft foam swords, 4 Minecraft sunglasses, and 2 Minecraft activity sheets. And a Minecraft movie is going to hit theaters April 4th. So congratulations to you, Frankie.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, have yourself a great weekend, bud. We're going to put you on hold, and we'll get all the info, and we'll take care of all that. I want to thank our sponsors. The Preston and Steve Show has been brought to you today by Dunkin', and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin', also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, and the Monster Energy AMA Supercross coming to Lincoln Financial Field Saturday, April 12th. Tickets at supercrosslive.com. Next week on our program, all right, for reals, Rick Springfield will join us on the program. So we're looking forward to that.
Yay.
Fran Dunphy has just retired. So we're going to talk to our buddy Fran. Comedian Brittany Brave will be joining us, and we'll have a few other things I'm sure that we'll sprinkle about the week.
Nice.
That is it. We are done. Rage on, and have yourself a great weekend, and we will see you later, gang. Bye-bye.
Steve. On 93.3 WMMR.
Bing, dang, doo-doo, be-do.
Mm-hmm.